Hey everyone, and welcome back. This is Undoomed, and I'm here with my trusty co-host. Are you my co-host now?
I guess so. I guess so.
Mr. Magog, of course. So how you doing?
Whoa, you had it playing, didn't you?
Yeah. Fuck, I always forget that shit.
I just heard it in the background. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. I caught it, but it took a second, so we're good now.
Yes. No, welcome to the show, everyone. How's everybody doing in the chat right now?
Yeah. How you doing, chat? Everyone's doing all right? Want me to get you a drink or something?
We are here for you.
Yeah.
We are here for your entertainment.
There you go.
Sneck is in the chat, like Magog the sidekick. Like, wait a minute, are you absolutely sure I'd be the sidekick? Like, seriously, I know I'm newer to YouTube, but are you sure?
I guess that depends on where we are. You know, we got our specialties, so I could be your side. I could be your sidekick when we're in your territory, and vice versa.
Right? Yeah, I never understood. You know, even Batman gave Robin the go ahead to do his own missions now and again. You know.
Oh, let's not even think about. That's what you bring up, really?
That's instantly what everybody thinks of when you say sidekick. Everybody always thinks of Batman and Robin.
Really? I think of like, I don't know, the two dudes in Beverly Hills Cop or something.
Yeah, I mean that's great, but though you can't even name those guys. You know, can't even name those guys.
It was Taggart.
Yeah, okay. So you like the Beverly Hills Cop? Good for you. It's Taggart and Judge Reinhold. Like you can't even remember his character name because he's just Judge Reinhold.
Pretty much. Yeah. He doesn't have a name. He has his real name. That's it.
Right. Well, I mean, how could you not though? I mean, with a name like Judge, it's easier to remember than whatever character you're playing.
I know. All the good guys are called Judge.
Right?
That's Jesus. Christopher Judge. He's Teal'c in Stargate.
Right. Yeah. That keep naming those things I've never watched.
Yeah. You're more of a fantasy guy, I guess.
Fancy. I just never got around to watching every fucking show on television. I was always more into movies and not television. It's only been recent that I got into television. You know because
it's all these fucking sequels. If you're just gonna make a fucking TV series on the big screen, then I'll just rather watch the TV series because they have more experience with this shit.
But back in the day, it wasn't like that. See, the reason I always hated TV shows is you always had to wait until next Friday to find out what happened, and every episode had to be a fucking cliffhanger.
Yeah,
but now with like Netflix and shit, I just get to binge watch the shit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So now I actually like TV more, you know, because I don't know what it is. I'm just not willing to wait, man. All these shows.
They seem to have a comparable budget nowadays also, so that's pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah, dude. Altered Carbon had an amazing effects, had amazing budget, you know. Yeah, I mean, it was up there with Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck yeah, man. That whole like dystopian city and everything, they must have built some wicked bad fucking awesome sets for that fucking shit, man.
Oh yeah. So let's put that on hold and let's just talk about this ban of bearing because that's something we wanted to talk about. So we shouldn't do that at the end.
Right. No, yeah.
So as far as I know, I mean, I've been busy, so I didn't know about this until recently. So I sent a message to Bering. I think he's sleeping, so I don't know anything, basically.
Yeah, Matt said the same thing, tried to reach out to him, didn't say anything. However, I did watch a video on the quartering this morning.
Yeah, I've seen that one, yeah.
Yeah, and he actually had a screenshot, so I'm guessing he got a hold of Bering sometime last night when Bering was still awake. And I don't know, fucking spam? Like they terminated his channel for spam? Spam, really?
I mean, he the only point he brought up that, you know, obviously we can't say that or we can't expect you to actually have a good reason. But if there was one kind of interesting point that was brought up in that video was the fact that he was making ads for CBT oils. I'm not sure if that's a breach of contract. I don't know.
I have no idea. Like I thought you were allowed to have sponsorships.
I sure, but that's based on cannabis or something, right?
Yeah, it doesn't get you high though. See, that's the thing. That's what's so weird.
Right,
Like
right.
it is meant to be, therapeutical. It's not,
I'm not judging. I'm just
right.
trying to figure out what it could be, right? Because
It was supposed to be like a healthy alternative to, like, I don't know, aspirin or something. Like you're supposed to take it and not have a headache anymore or something, or
yeah, but you can see if you're selling something that is made out of cannabis, some people might get their panties in a bunch.
Yeah, if it has no THC, then it doesn't have the active ingredient that makes you fucking high as shit.
Yeah, but it sounds bad.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, but when did Netflix buy into that whole, like, your kids are gonna murder each other on weed thing? You remember that that old fucking, like, black and white fucking movie? Like,
I mean, this is your brain on crack or something?
No, there was like this old like anti-marijuana from like the 1950s that was like, fucking your daughter will have sex with a black dude if she's high,
they just made all the fucking errors in that video.
Right? Yeah, they were like, hop heads. Brr.
Oh yeah. I think
that's what they used to call it too, hop heads. Yeah, they used to call it hop.
Right.
Yeah. Reefer Madness. That's it. Thank you, Slage, man. Thank you.
Especially for a California company, it's kind of hypocritical.
Right?
Yeah, you're going to talk about weed? Your fucking half your economy is driven by weed. What are you talking about?
Right. And according to the quartering, he did contact Trusted Flagger. So I don't know if Trusted Flagger will be able to help him out or not. But I mean, you're totally right. If it's a California thing, like, why are they're mad because it's Bering doing it.
Right. And obviously they can that's why the rules are so vague. So they can just say anything and it doesn't matter because all the rules are like horoscopes. You can I guess they apply.
That's totally me.
Yeah.
I could.
I mean, every sentence in those rules,
is ambiguous as fuck.
Yeah, they end with something like or something similar, or something to that effect.
That
or something. What do you mean something similar?
Right? Yeah, like please define something similar. Things we don't like. Okay, that's the answer.
Yeah. So basically, they reserve the right to fuck you in the ass whenever they please.
Right.
So that was the only thing that the quartering went through that I thought, okay, maybe that was it, because spam. What do you mean? Is it spam to upload content? No. And that's the only thing I can think of, and that's what Matt brought up too when I was talking to him on Twitter. After his show, I was just hitting him up on Twitter. He was like, "Thanks for watching the show, man." And I was like, "Hear about Bering?" And he was like, "I think it might have to do with the CBT oil thing." And I was just like, "Okay, yeah, maybe." But he's been getting flagged by fucking Fisty Splinters for fucking years now. Maybe she finally succeeded in getting somebody's attention over at YouTube. I don't know. Who knows? It's so ambiguous. They just sent him in. Your channel's been terminated for spam. And yeah, but it wasn't just spam. It was like a whole list. You've been terminated for spam or for duplicitous actions or something similar.
Yeah, why don't they just say wrong think and get it over with? Like,
or why don't they just point to the fucking video and say, "Here, fuckhead, here's what you did."
Here's a question: if it is the CBD oil, right? If it is that. Is that a sign that YouTube is going after advertisers or sponsors that decide to go directly to the content creators and not YouTube? That's a scary thought. That's a scary thought that they're like, no, wait, you can't have ads on your channel unless it's from us. Could you imagine that?
I'm not so sure about that if it's CBT, because that still has that sort of a drug connection, and we have such a complicated relation with marijuana. It's crazy.
I
It's
understand
like
that.
half the country says it's okay, and the federal government says "fuck you."
Yes, I get that, but think about this though. Wouldn't they try that idea on something they could skate out of in case it becomes a thing? Of course they would. They wouldn't do it to like Amazon. They wouldn't do it to like if you got an Amazon sponsorship. They wouldn't do it to that. But they're like, okay, maybe if we try it out on this, we can skate out of it if people ask us why we did it. If it turns out to be a bad thing. I swear to God, sometimes YouTube just tests the water, man. Sometimes they just like, can we get away with this? And they'll do it. And then everybody will go, what the fuck are you doing? And YouTube go, it was an accident. It was a fucking accident. Like they did that with the whole like, oh, we accidentally shut down a bunch of conservative channels. Our bad.
Right.
Like, would it really surprise you? Now, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but at the same time, this is just hypothetical. What if that's what they were doing? That's a scary thought is all I'm saying.
Right.
What if they're actually like, people are now getting sponsorships because their content won't play ads because of us. So now they're making money and we're not getting a cut of it. Fuck that.
Yeah, but there is such a there's no such thing as you not being allowed to have sponsorships. You just have to click the button that says there is a sponsorship in this video. So unless they've changed the rules and not told us, which would be kind of even beyond YouTube's way of doing things.
That's not outside the box there.
Well, it's not outside the box, but it's still like, I don't think so. I think it's not about that. I think it's more about the fact that it's drug thingies. We don't want drug thingies.
Anthony Bailey in the chat asks, do we know why it got killed?
No,
not really. But
we're speculating here.
Yeah, we're speculating here like everybody else on YouTube because, we want clicks and views and everybody subscribe to Magaga Morscar and my Patreon, blah, blah, blah. No, we really, all we have to go on is the quartering video at this point because Bering is like asleep right now and he's not talking to anybody. But he's gotten banned from Twitter and now his channel is shut down. And the only reason we're really talking about it is because it's a little concerning because it's been happening a lot lately. And I think Bering is just the next one in line, like Suit Yourself, Sinatra. Monday Matt even got a community strike. He can't stream on his main channel now. Some channels have been completely terminated. This has been a thing happening in 2018 suddenly.
Right. Yeah, it's been a lot of that. What was the other guy last week? Mr. Dapperton?
Yeah, Daps got hit too.
Yeah. I heard he got his channel back though.
Did he? I haven't talked to him, but I know when it got struck, it was because he got 5 hate speech community strikes.
Right. Yeah.
So it was specifically hate speech for him.
I heard it. I heard he got it back.
I'd have to check. Let me type in his channel because I am subscribed to him, and let me see if it pops up.
Yeah, let's double check that.
Mr.
Give the viewers some quality information that is 100% correct.
It is back up, yes.
It is back, yes.
I'm looking at it right now.
Happy to hear that. Yeah. He wrote me. I was off working, so I didn't see it when it was going down. But by the time I got back, it was already up again. So I'm happy to see that.
Hey Dude says, I think Dap just made a new channel. He's had a couple channels, but this is definitely his main channel because it's the only one I've ever subscribed to. So when I clicked on it, it said I was subscribed. Therefore, it wasn't the new channel because I haven't subscribed to any new channel. So his old channel with 118,000 subs is back up.
Right.
So, but
so that means we know from the last times this has happened that that probably means that not all his videos are online immediately. That takes a couple of days.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know how his channel looked right now when you looked at it, but usually that takes a couple extra days, right?
Yeah, and I've also heard a rumor going around. I don't know how true it is that some channels. I don't know if this is like a personal thing that people can do on their own channel or if YouTube's automatically doing it, but it's like their sub count is being hidden, so people don't know how many subs they have.
You can do that yourself.
Well, so. I've been seeing on the Twitter sphere and on YouTube people going, how come I can't see your sub count, or how come this channel doesn't have a sub count anymore, or anything like that? Like, there's no way to tell who subbed to them or how many. And it's like, why are they doing that?
Well, that is an option in your settings. So I mean,
is it? But it's not YouTube doing it. That's something the creator can do.
Yeah, I don't think that's something YouTube is doing.
Well, you know, I wouldn't put it past them if they just started doing that, because they're kind of on board with that ideology of like everybody is equal and maybe we shouldn't promote this kind of competition. You know, like, because people do see that sub count number and go, "Ooh, this person's legit," right?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how people think, but that is definitely a setting that you can do. I mean, Teal Deer did that years ago.
Right. Yeah. I did that one time for Patreon. I hid my amount because somebody warned me that the SJW trolls would find out how much money I make on Patreon and then try to use it as a way to like bash me. Kind of because they did that to Sargon and everybody got worried and started hiding their amount because everybody, you know, some SJW went over to Sargon's channel, was like, and then wrote Patreon and was like, this Nazi is making $8,000 a month on your platform for spewing hate. And they had to investigate Sargon. And it was all because they could see how much money he made. And so like I hid my amount, and immediately after I had a bunch of people on Twitter like, hey Magog, why'd you hide how much you make? Are you trying to say you're poor and you're not? Are you trying to like get more money out of people? And I'm like, holy fuck, I can't win. Like, geez, I'll put it back. You can see exactly how much I make.
Yeah, you can't win.
No, you can't.
No, but I think those cases that you're talking about that's probably people just hiding their subscribers, because I can't see any reason for YouTube to do that.
Right. Yeah, I don't.
And that's been a feature that's been there for ages and ages.
Yeah. Hey, dude, in the chat says Roaming Millennial has advertised CBD oil.
Okay, well, hey, I'd hate to be her then.
Yeah, if they struck down Bering for that sponsorship,
right,
but let her go, it means they went after Bering on purpose.
Yeah, I actually got an offer from those guys, and I was like, this sounds iffy.
Undoomed, the finer print. I'm trying to pay attention to the chat like we agreed.
Right.
The finer print asks, Undoomed, can you reach out to Tonkasaw? They're probably wanting you to comment on the fact that the Kumite is now dead.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Why would they want me to comment on it? I've never been on there, and what? What do you mean?
Your fuck level about internet blood sports is like way low. Like you don't really give a fuck. Yeah, that happened last night. Andy did a whole like 4-hour stream, and I guess they had JF on, and they had a bunch of other people, and apparently people have been swatted, people have been doxxed, and Tonka finally. And I don't know if this is the whole story. I'm just repeating what I personally know right now. Apparently, Tonka's like, I'm worried about people getting hurt because of my show, so we're fucking done.
Okay, well that's noble of him.
Yeah, and of course, Andy kind of feels the same because Andy took over, let Kumite come onto his channel after Tonka got strikes.
Right.
And so now Andy's under the gun and in the crosshairs, and so now even Andy's like, maybe Kumite should just go away. Like, like maybe this whole internet blood sports thing has had its run.
Okay.
And maybe that's. I mean, I kind of predicted it. Like way back when it all first started to really blow up, I was like, there's no way this could last. It's just way too vitriolic.
That's just such a safe bet, I guess. Nothing lasts.
Yes, Undoomed, but I only make safe bets.
We're all gonna die.
Yeah, but I also meant it in the short term. I didn't even think they'd make it a year, and I guess I was right. Because I was like, it's so vitriolic. Eventually, it's going to end up splitting people into like groups and stuff, and who hates who and who really despises this person and that person. And because it comes from a place of like real fucking hatred, it was inevitable that people were just going to get fucking angry enough to do stupid shit. And guess what that stupid shit ended up being? Fucking doxing and swatting people.
Right.
And when you don't like a co-host of a show so much that you're like, I'm going to dox your entire fucking family. Like Andy had his fucking sister doxed. Like, what does she have to do with the fucking show?
By the co-host?
Yeah, no, by fans. They're just so goddamn vitriolic about shit that's said on that fucking show, that it fucking ended up splitting groups apart. You go and watch the chat on the Kumites, and you'll see it, man. Like last night, I was watching a little bit of the Andy thing. He was still live. I didn't understand what was going on because it was already like 3 hours in, and I was just like, okay, what's this about? Because the title of the stream was "The Kumite is Dead."
Yeah, and don't forget that lisp.
Yeah, exactly. When I do impressions, I immediately assume everybody's gay.
That's good.
Somebody in real life could come up and be like, I'm going to kick your fucking ass. I'll go and tell my friend that, and he'll be like, this guy came up to me and was like, I'm going to kick your fucking ass. Okay. Yeah, I clicked on it, and you just watch the chat, and like half the chat is like, JF won, JF is a god. The other half of the chat is like, Tonka's a badass, JF sucks balls. I'm like, how do you keep an audience happy when you got shit like that,
I don't know, but I've never really, taken those kind of things that serious, because if you go to a Sargon's chat, it's still going to be like fucking cancer.
That's true. That's very true. But I don't think anybody in the chat at Sargon has ever swatted anybody or doxed anybody because they didn't like.
No, that's definitely crossing the line, obviously. But I don't mind if someone wants to just say their piece in the chat, and even if it's stupid and I don't agree with it, it's like, okay, you said your piece, that's fine.
Melissa Rapp in the chat says Tonka was what was wanted, not needed. And Chris says, fire Magog! He is dead serious, man. Maybe after this we need to.
Yeah, but I've
been fired from.
If you're gonna fire Magog, at least get the meme right. It's supposed to be kick, not fired.
Oh, right. Like, yeah, no, because you said at the beginning, I am now your co-host. So it's official. You have to now fire me. It can't be just kick me off.
Sure, I can.
There was a contract. Our people met together. Like your people called my people. We did lunch.
I could still kick you and then have my people call your people.
Right.
It's you have some quality comments in your chat when you have Kick V in there when he's not even there.
Right. Yep. Kick V. The motherfucker ain't even here. Like what? I guess that's just become a meme when people are saying it.
It is. I mean, it shows up in every chat. Like Kick V. Yeah, but he's not here. Kick V.
So Commander Zoot Helsing says, "What the fuck happened to Bering?"
Bering got terminated.
He got terminated. Yeah, and we don't really know why. We watched the quartering this morning. I watched something else. I think the Cunt Stream was doing a stream last night, but I didn't watch all of it because, it's the Cunt Stream. And love you, Schmeckle. But they were everybody's talking about it and going, why? The screenshots say that it was for spam and a bunch of other shit. Who fucking knows at this point? Hope he gets it back like Daps did. I hope this is just YouTube, beating their chest, showing who's boss, and that's ultimately what it is. Until YouTube is considered like an actual, like, I don't know, public utility or something where it has to fall under the federal guidelines of the Constitution. And it's not just they own the platform, they can do what they want. When it's no longer that, and it actually becomes an actual place that everybody fucking uses fairly. We're going to have this kind of stuff happen. People are going to be like, I don't like your content. That is one of the biggest mistakes YouTube made, was giving the power, too much power to the watchers, to people. Like, there are people who are literally just skimming across YouTube going, I really don't like him. Flag. Why would you give somebody that power?
Yeah, it's kind of like if the electrical company just said, "Nah, we don't like your political opinion, so no more electricity, asshole."
Right. Yeah, and that's why the power companies and the and stuff like that had to become by law a public utility. They're allowed to make money, but they're not allowed to treat anybody differently.
Right.
And unfortunately, that's just not happening with internet tech companies right now. That's a huge discussion in politics right now. There's a huge discussion on Capitol Hill on what to do with this whole internet situation.
Right.
And there's been some headway.
It amazes me how stupid politicians and business leaders are, especially business leaders in this particular case, because they're going to run this shit right into the ground until politicians just have to do some stupid shit, because they're going to do stupid shit. They're not going to do. They're not going to have some sensible law. They're going to come out with something that's even more stupid, and then they're going to have to live with that.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that loot thing, with the fucking games, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's like if they could have just fucking tempered themselves and like someone just grab the other guy's shoulder and go like, "Dude, are you sure about this? Really? Can we not do this?" Nope.
Yep.
They have to run it into the fucking ground until a politician figures, "Ooh, maybe I can get elected on this."
And I don't trust the politicians either. I mean, Anthony Bailey brings up a good point. He says, "Magog, would you really trust the government of a single country to regulate a worldwide service?" No. But I'm not advocating for that. I'm not advocating for the government to run the internet.
I'm advocating for the fucking CEOs to have some common sense, because sooner or later, some guy who wants to get elected is going to step in.
Right. I'm really tired of this whole, the argument that, do you want the governments to rule the internet? No, I don't. But some of these platforms do need to be considered public platforms and stop these fucking corporations from mistreating people under our constitutional rights.
Right.
Like that it is unconstitutional, but they get to hide behind the very just law that it's our business. We get to run it how we see fit. And that's why it's a huge complicated issue, because I agree with that law. I don't like it that like a fucking Christian bakery is forced by the government to go do a gay wedding, even though it's against their religious, beliefs. They don't have any hatred for the gay people, but they have to fucking go do it. Like that whole argument happened in like 2014, 2015. And it was like, no, they're allowed to serve who they wish, but they're also not a public company. However, I think that YouTube and Twitter and social media has become such a massive part of the corporate world that you practically need these social media platforms in order to even run a business.
Right.
That I think it should be open to all and lightly regulated constitutionally. The platforms, not the internet, just the platforms.
Yeah, well, we don't need a special code of conduct. We actually have laws, right?
Sure, yeah.
We have laws that regulate, you can't threaten people because, and then, all those fucking anti-free speech idiots will come along. Well, if you can regulate threats, then why can't you regulate something else? Well, that's because a threat is not actually about the words. It's a lesser degree of intent, right? It's like you have assault, and then you have attempted assault, and then you have threats.
Right.
That's where it comes from. It doesn't really have to do with the words. It has to do with the intent.
Yeah, and
bodily harm. So that's a different thing. It's very clear cut, and they try to muddy the waters with all this bullshit. But threats, no problem. There's no issue here about free speech and threats. Of course, threats are illegal because they're a statement of intent to assault someone, right?
And I understand that.
And then there's the don't yell rape, fire or whatever it is, right?
Right.
And it's clear because obviously if you can cause people to get trampled to death with a word, then okay, that's
but that all falls under the laws of like okay, the government has no problem regulating public spaces like a public park where you're allowed to gather and do whatever the fuck you want and say whatever the fuck you want as long as it doesn't cross those boundaries, right? Why can't YouTube be the same? Why can't online companies be like public parks where it's like, this is for everybody, but if you come here with a bike lock and start bashing people over the head, we're going to get you, right?
Yeah. I don't understand either.
You know, like, it's easy. You get online and you're like, haha, you're a moron. You can say that in a public place. But if you come onto YouTube and go, everybody should go to this person's house and kill them, you can't do that.
No.
You should be kicked off the platform.
Yeah,
because that's essentially the same.
That was a weird, analogy, though.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like you said, it's the intent, it's the violence. I was comparing something that is physically in real life to something that's online. Obviously, you can't bash somebody over the head with a bike lock online, but you have to compare the two. Like, if you can't show up to a public park and hurt somebody on the internet, you can't show up to the internet and go, everybody go and kill them.
Right.
You can't do that.
Right.
And that's all it should be. It shouldn't be this.
Either way, that's my point. It speaks to intent. And, and that is not really a part of the speech laws. That is part of the criminal laws governing assault and even murder and stuff like that, right?
Right. Now, there is a gray area, though, that is concerning, because I totally agree with you. Intent is everything. But you have to be able to prove intent, and that's the hard part. Like, Joe Rogan talks about this all the time, how he believes, like, words are words, but the intent behind the words is what should matter. And he said it before in a show. He truly believes that it's like, if you walk up to a friend of yours and you're like, "What's up, bitch?" You know, and you're both laughing and stuff, that's fine. But if you actually, like, you're a bitch in order, because you think they're a bitch, those are two different intents behind the same word, right? But at the same time, someone can go, I really, really do believe that guy over there is a pedophile, but that's just my opinion. Technically, with that sentence, he's skirting libel and slander laws by saying it's just my opinion. So legally, they'd have to prove that his intent, even though he was using words that are proper to get around libel laws, is to try to prove that his intent, even though the words he's using are for, just opinion purposes, are meant to harm the person he's talking about. And it's hard to prove that. You'd have to prove it in a court of law with evidence and all kinds of stuff. So,
well, isn't that just, something that also has to take into consideration how big a voice that person has? I mean, if that person has 5 followers on Twitter and he says that, are they really going to care? Can that guy really do damage?
Yeah, that you make a good point, but at the same time, the law doesn't care how popular you are. The law is supposed to govern everybody equally. And so I could be a nobody and say that guy over there is a rapist with no evidence and still be a slanderous motherfucker.
Right. But that's why I don't think the solution to that is to bring in more laws. I just think it's to refocus on the fact that if you haven't been convicted for something, you're innocent.
Yes, the whole idea behind our justice system is innocent until proven guilty, even if you look at the motherfucker and go, that motherfucker there did it.
Yeah. Well, the scary thing is how many people get wrongfully convicted, though.
Yeah, that is. Nobody said our justice system was perfect, but it is the best we can make it because of human error.
Sure.
I really wish there was no such thing as people wrongfully being sent to death row and killed when they didn't commit the crime, but the evidence was overwhelming against them. And I really wish there wasn't corruption within the justice system too, because with people there are corruption, and some DAs fucking hide evidence or some shit like that just to get that conviction. We know he did it, but I'm gonna hide this evidence. I'm gonna bury it or something. And luckily, when those people get caught, they get seriously punished. Jail time and everything. But I wish that didn't happen, but it does. And so, we do have to be cognitive of that, obviously, but it's really scary when one of the biggest platforms on the internet, YouTube, can just be like, you over there, we don't like you, go away. You over there, we really like you, we'll promote you. You over there, fucking die. You know, like that's kind of scary.
Exactly, because it's not just that they can ban anyone that they don't like. If they like you, they will promote you.
I love Laszlo. I love Laszlo Panaflex in your chat. He has the most eloquent way of describing the government. He says, and I quote, this is poetic, "The government is pee."
Okay.
That is great. I fucking love it. The government is pee. That should be a fucking t-shirt. Laszlo, make it a t-shirt. I will buy a t-shirt from Laszlo if he just makes a t-shirt that says the government is pee. That's like the equivalent of like kids on a playground going, "You're a poopy head."
Yeah. Should have a big colostomy bag on the fucking t-shirt.
I love that. Just make the word "pee" in yellow and the rest of it in white. You know.
I heard Teespring actually banned atheism. Atheism is unstoppable. I don't know, a couple of days ago.
Really? Yeah. Well, it does make sense. Once again, they're a platform that's like, you can upload anything to our t-shirts and we'll print it for you and sell it to your fans, unless it has nudity or curse words or anything like that on it. Mm-hmm. You know, like they have their rules too, you know, obviously.
Sure. I don't think he was uploading any nudie pictures to his t-shirts, though.
Yeah, but they're probably like, he's an atheist unstoppable, so he's probably like, oh, you know, your God is dead. And Teespring probably looked at it and was like, okay, this is. I don't know. Maybe we don't want to piss people off or something.
I don't know much about it. I just saw the tweets, so this could be completely wrong. But from what I understood, it's because of his white male T-shirt.
Oh yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it right there. Yep.
But that's I haven't confirmed that with Devin Tracy or anything, but that's what the tweeters were saying.
Yeah. I mean, I disagree with that, obviously, but at the same time, it's like, that's troubled ground getting into. You know, I don't think they should have shut him down. I think they should have just been like, "Can you pull that product, please? We're not going to print it." But you can still have a store, like, please. You know, like,
why? You know, I'm going to have to disagree there. Why would it be a wrong thing to have a t-shirt that just said white male? That's all it said.
No, I completely agree. What I'm getting at is like, yes, these businesses are allowed to run their platforms how they see fit, but they always go to the extreme. YouTube's the same way. They're like, community strike, you're gone, get out of here. Why can't they be like, please, can you take that one video down? We've been getting complaints. Like, why can't they meet us in the middle a little bit? And it's the same with Teespring. They saw that one thing and shut his store completely down.
Yeah.
Why? You know, like, if you disagree with it and you don't want it on your platform, talk to the creator. Most people actually are pretty legitimately, you know, like reasonable.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point, because obviously if they just talk to them and said, okay, here's the thing, most people would sort of try to do their best, but now
the moment you just shut them down completely and kick them off, make an enemy.
And then you said, well, we banned you because you did this, or you did this, or you did this, or you did this, or you did something similar. Like,
right?
What?
Go fuck yourself. You know, talk to me. You know,
that's when people just go off to BitChute and do it twice as hard.
Right. The finer print says YouTube is already a public utility, seeing how it's filled with raw sewage. That's not bad. One. That's a good one.
Good
one. But yeah, I mean, I really think a lot of these companies are run by people of the most extreme ideology, and so their reactions are just as extreme. And they don't realize, like, if I do a video that's probably crossing the line or a little too harsh, if YouTube, instead of just being like, you got a strike, you're not allowed to stream anymore, or they're like, we took your channel down because of this reason, and this reason, they would just email the creators and be like, this one thing, like the rest of your stuff seems fine. This one video, can you please pull it down? We'll give you like 3 days.
Yeah, or I think just this is a kind of a minor point, but I think that's kind of stupid. That's what Twitter does as well. Like, yeah, they email you and they're like, take this thing down, and then you will reinstate you within 7 days. Like, motherfucker, why don't you take it down if it was such a horrible thing, right? Why do they even give you the option? Just take the fucker down and tell you, this was the video. This is why we took it down. Now, here's your punishment, whatever it is, right?
Well, yeah, but the punishment is always so harsh, it doesn't match the crime. That's the thing.
Yeah, like, but what is the point of having someone have to go in there and like, okay, I have to delete the fucking tweet?
Because it at least builds a rapport with the company that shows the company is actually like one-on-one trying to care for the creators. And I know that's hard to do when you have 80 million.
You're misunderstanding me. I'm talking about how Twitter sends out that message. There's no human interaction.
Exactly. That's my point. Is there is no human interaction, which is why people hate it. If Twitter would message you instead of like messaging you, would be like, this is why you were suspended. Delete the tweet and we'll reinstate you in 24 hours. Instead of doing that, if Twitter were to actually like be like, hey,
no, this is a point of principle. They shouldn't ask you to remove the tweet. They should just remove it, because we all know that tweet is never going to be seen by anyone ever again. But they still want to humiliate you by having you go in there and press delete.
The reason I disagree is because if they deleted the tweet for you, then we would be hearing the other side of the argument. Why does Twitter have just instant access to my account and can delete anything I fucking post? That's not right.
It's a fucking public platform.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, there was a judge who recently ruled that Donald Trump's Twitter is a public platform and he should not be able to ban people.
Yeah, but that was a district court judge.
Right, exactly. And so obviously that might be appealed, but that's kind of a win, because no matter what you think of the president, his official like presidential Twitter is kind of like it's supposed to be run by whoever the president is at the time. It's not his personal Twitter, right?
Right.
It's the POTUS Twitter. You shouldn't be able to ban people if you're the president. You should be able to allow everybody to come at you fucking, which is why I think presidents.
I don't know. I mean, I say we're all equal under the law, and if Donald Trump can't ban people, then neither can Steve Shives.
Yeah, but it's the difference between personal and like an actual like state or federal.
Yeah, but he does have a state Twitter that's at
like if this was his actual
at POTUS, right?
Right, that's what I'm talking about. It's his POTUS one that got under fire, not his person. Like if it was at Donald Trump and it was his personal Twitter account, I would have a thing with it. It's kind of like saying, oh,
but who the fuck gives a shit about at POTUS? He never posts there.
Oh, that's right. He uses his at real Donald Trump, doesn't he?
Right.
That should, yeah, okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah, that should be his personal account, and
it is his personal account.
That shouldn't be trusted. I thought he was using his POTUS account. I don't pay attention, I guess.
Right. I don't know. I just, make up your mind. And if you say that he can't ban anyone, then Steve Shives can't either. That's my point.
I think, if it is his personal
account.
I'm
looking forward to seeing Steve Shives' feed.
Now, here's the question. When Trump's no longer president, will he get his ability to ban people back? Are they doing that just because he's the president and he's a public servant and he's been voted into office and everybody should have a say in what he does, like publicly? I don't know. Like,
like I said, it should be uniform for all people.
I will say this as a kind of a sidebar. The can of worms this types of stuff opens on behalf of like the Democrats really pushing it, or the extreme left or whatever, they don't realize it's going to bite them in the ass one day too. You watch, like something happens and a law is passed, and then all of a sudden like Anita's like, Why can't I ban people? Or Steve Shive's going to be like, where'd my ban button go? No, I didn't think this would affect me. And I'll laugh. I'll laugh my fucking, you wanted this, motherfuckers. Now you got it.
Right. Speaking of Anita, did you see her new fundraiser?
No, I did not.
Oh, she's come out with a new $35,000 fundraiser.
Oh.
And if she gets to her $35,000 goal, she will appear virtually at a high school. Isn't that nice?
Hey, everybody, donate to my GoFundMe to give me $35,000 to indoctrinate children.
So I can go and have a Skype call, right? That's what a Skype call costs, right?
For $35K, really, at least show up.
It's really expensive.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Or does that include a strip?
I hope so. I hope them high school kids are like, yeah, she's kind of hot. Show us your boobs.
Yeah, we got the dollar bills. Come on.
Jesus Christ.
What the fuck, $35,000 and she'll virtually show up at a high school. Okay.
Man, $35,000, the least you could do is show up publicly.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it when I saw it. It's like, you're not even going to show up for real? You're just going to Skype them for 35 grand? Okay.
That's that like self-importance thing. She seems to think like, if I show up in public, somebody will try to assassinate me. You know, like she thinks she's more important than she really is.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Forgetting the fact that okay, the virtual thing might be okay because at least virtually, you know, she could put on some makeup or have a stand-in double or somebody that doesn't look like her in real life, even if it is her, because I mean, she has in my opinion, she has a face for radio. Maybe she should just use an icon when she calls this school. Maybe it's not a good idea that she shows up and people go, is this what ugly people are? Is this what terrible human beings look like in person? Maybe the kids should not be exposed to that. Maybe she's on the right track here. Maybe I agree with Anita. Maybe she should not expose her physical appearance. It'd be like opening the Ark of the Covenant. And the last thing I need after all these school shootings is to read about a bunch of high school kids' faces melting. Okay?
Right. So let's see here. Sneck brings up a good point. She said that if she got 25K, she would start a Discord. And if she got 35K, she's going to virtually appear at a high school. So 25K for a Discord server. I didn't know those things were that expensive, dude.
Fuck, man. Here I am starting shit for free.
I didn't know you could get 25K for a Discord. Holy shit. I got to get into Discord, man. Is there like a sign up thing there or something? How does that work?
I guess so, man. Maybe she should be like, if I get 40K, I'll send out a videotape on an old VHS, and if you put it in the VCR and watch it, you die in 7 days. Maybe that's what she should do.
Yeah, I mean,
I could just see Anita Sarkeesian just crawling out of a well.
That could happen.
She's wearing a white nightgown and she's got her hair in front of her face, but she has the hoop earrings on. She comes crawling out of the well. You know, like kids are watching at school, like, what the fuck is this? A crappy B-rated fucking movie? Like, what is this?
Yeah, and then you take it home to grandma and she dies.
Right, exactly.
Holy shit.
Pop culture references are amazing in these streams with you.
Yeah. I just thought that was amazing. Like, why even put things out, put down goals like that? It's so weird. Why not just say, okay, people, I'm short on cash. Just give me cash. That would be more honest.
I at least would respect that. I wouldn't give to it, but I'd respect it more.
Exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't give to it, but okay, well, you're honest. Fine. You at least have that, but nope.
But here's the thing. Dishonest people just aren't honest. That's why they're dishonest people.
Oh, that's deep.
Yeah, I mean, if she were to be honest, it could unmake the universe. It could be a paradox You know, that could unravel the space-time continuum.
Fire up the DeLorean. Jesus.
It's like that Bud Light commercial where it's like it shows the devil and he's in hell and everything's like frozen and he's like, what is happening? And it goes up to like the real world and everybody's like, hey, Chad actually bought everyone beer. like the moment Anita Sarkeesian shows any honesty, Satan will be skating to work. Okay.
And swearing all the way. Or does he say God when he swears? How does that work?
I bet he's the only one that legitimately thinks that's a curse word.
Yeah, he's skating to work on God, 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 God. Holy shit. So you're off to your beer run now, or what happened?
No, I'm grabbing I didn't buy beer, man. I only drink with friends on like Friday or my dad on Sundays. I typically don't like to drink all that much.
But it sounds like you're going off to the other.
Yeah, I went to the fridge to grab my energy drink.
Is that to the fridge? It sounds like it's on the other side of the road.
Well, it's because it's pretty far from my mic, but it's all in the same room. I just, I'm not directly in front of my mic, so it sounds like I'm pretty far away. But I felt it was time to dump my ashtray and get another drink out of the fridge. Anyway, I'm back.
Right. It's always fun picking on you for that. So.
Oh yeah, why are you stalled so far away? That is such an old joke too, because like when I first started streaming, I would go to the back door of my apartment to smoke because I didn't smoke inside. I was like trying to smoke on my patio and like yell across the room to my mic, and I got so much shit for that. I actually was like, okay, I need to do one of two things. I need to buy a headset with a microphone, like for gaming, or I need to start smoking indoors and just, not have to get up. And I looked at prices for a good set of headphones with a microphone. And I was like, nah, I'll ruin the walls in my apartment. Fuck it. I'm not paying $30 when I could just put tar in my walls. I don't own this place. Fuck them.
Right. No security deposits, what you're saying.
I'm not getting my security deposit back. They're going to have to clean this place. Even though I'm the cleaner at this apartment complex. So I get to get paid for cleaning my own apartment when I would have to anyway if I wanted my deposit back. So if I clean this place, not only am I getting my deposit back, but I'll get paid because I am the contract cleaner of this apartment complex.
That's weird.
It is what it is. I mean, she's like, yeah, you'll get paid for cleaning your own apartment because you're cleaning a residence. Like, there's, well, fuck it.
All right.
Saves me from having to go get the key from her though. On the day that I move out, it's going to be the easiest apartment I ever have to clean because I'm going to have to clean it anyway.
Oh, the good old days when you used to work with cleaning.
If I still have this contract. Now, that's the thing. See, my parents are building the studio for me because I couldn't line up the loan this year. And we already talked about that. You know the reasons why.
Oh, yeah.
I went to the loan company and they were like, you make good money, but you make it on the internet. No.
Yeah.
Like they still were like, what? I have great credit. My credit is like 830. Like that's pretty fucking high. Right.
Right.
And the money I make and everything with my contracts and YouTube and everything is really high. I made good money. Even the loan officer was like, this is all very impressive, but we're not comfortable with where you get your money. You know, like they have not caught up with the times over there at banks.
No, I mean, they've hardly even figured out the internet. So.
Right. Exactly. So anyway, once the studio is built and I move there, I'll probably dump this contract. I don't want to have to drive here to clean apartments.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I'm hoping to make enough money off of Patreon and super chats and all that stuff. And I hope YouTube doesn't terminate my channel so that I can make enough money that I don't have to get a job once I move. So here's to hoping.
Here's to hoping and Jesus Christ, what is going on when you have to even worry about that thing when you're not a fucking ISIS jihadist?
Right. like actual hate speech. Like, I get it. I make mean jokes on the internet that not everybody likes. Yeah. Boo-hoo, the world keeps turning. But when somebody posts a video on YouTube of somebody beheading another motherfucker, I understand that motherfucker getting taken down. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
The only time I behead somebody is for a joke, and it's not real.
Yeah, that's called a roast.
Right, exactly.
I don't get it. It's just...
The fucking hypocrisy of Hollywood, too. They're saying, you're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to be mean. We have to change this script. It has the word faggot in it. But then they'll turn around and let Comedy Central do a roast, and all the celebrities will show up to it to laugh. And it's like, what the fuck is the difference?
I don't know. That's a good point, because apparently it depends on who you are, because Quentin Tarantino can use all the words, apparently.
Yeah. I don't know how he's managed to walk between the raindrops, but he does.
Yeah.
I made a movie with the N-word in it 118 times.
118 times.
I didn't get shit for it because it was called Django Unchained, and it was a positive movie.
Yep. They even gave him Oscars and shit.
Yeah, and fucking The Hateful Eight too, you know?
Holy shit. Yeah, because, you know, he doesn't catch any flack.
Maybe one day he will. Maybe one day they'll just be like, you're not allowed to say that at all.
Yeah, probably, I guess.
There I go with the game. I just assume every producer in Hollywood is like, stop it. Stop making movies.
Yeah. Stop it. We don't want your money. Wait, what did I just say?
Right? That is the biggest thing. I think Hollywood, if it wasn't for companies like Disney doing the big blockbusters like Star Wars and Marvel, no matter what you feel about these movies, they are the big money makers right now. Think about it though, how many good movies came out that made that kind of money besides those big budget fucking summer blockbusters that are part of the fucking extended universe and shit?
I don't know, but they really have to get a hold of themselves. I mean, another Mowgli movie right after the deal one.
Yeah.
Can the first one fucking get out of the theaters before you launch the next one?
Everything
is the rotation period here?
Everything is speeding up. I remember you used to wait a year after a movie was released to theaters before you could buy it on DVD. Now 3 months goes by, it's on digital. You know?
3 months go by and the remake is already out.
Right.
Fucking hell.
It's like you see the fucking trailer for the next one when you go to see the first one.
I couldn't even really understand when I saw that trailer. Like, is this the one I saw, or is this a new one, or what's going on? It's animated tigers again. What's going on?
Yeah, what's what you get. Let's do a sequel to The Jungle Book. Why?
I don't know what's going on. Fucking hell. I mean, that was too close, obviously. I mean, not even Spider-Man reboots itself that often.
Yeah. Nihilist Lives Matter says, I was looking for an Undoomed hangout. I stumbled onto Beavis and Butthead. Who's Beavis and who's Butthead, though? I'm curious.
Does it matter?
No, it really doesn't.
No, doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah. Fucking Kipling, man. Rudyard Kipling. I have a Rudyard Kipling Jungle Book from like 1930. Like it's an old print. And it has the swastika on the front of it.
What?
Because it's like a Hindu symbol. And it, like,
okay.
Like it's actually like a symbol in Hindu for like peace or something like that. So like it has like an elephant head with with the swastika under it. It's like, well, of course, when he wrote that, he didn't know the Nazis would use it. So,
but like, that's, okay. That's an interesting point though, because, if you're a conspiracy theorist, you could say that, why do we never hear from those Indians? Well, because they have swastikas everywhere, so No SJW is ever going to allow that to be shown anywhere. And they literally have those swastikas everywhere.
Sure, yeah. Now, Cult of Lich raises a good point. The Nazi one, the arms are backwards. Yeah. I mean, obviously Hitler made it his own, but it is literally the same symbol mirrored. Like it's a mirrored.
No one's going to think about that.
Nobody's going to think about it. No, hell no. They're going to see it and go, that's a plus sign doing cartwheels. Nobody does that. Yeah. Okay, they're going to look at it and go, swastika.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fun because every time you see like a documentary from India or something, that they decorate their cars and the trucks and taxis and everything with that shit.
Right.
And wow, you really put that on there? And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's our symbol. Fuck off.
Dude, one of the weirdest things I ever saw in Kuwait. We were on an ammo run. Mm-hmm. And so we were driving through Kuwait, heading to the Iraqi border in a convoy. And so we were on the highway, and this truck passed us in Kuwait. And it was like a 1950s step side, an old 1950s truck. Real nice, real pretty, fully restored. And it was fucking red and had a giant black circle with a fucking white background and a swastika inside of it. The damn thing was painted like a goddamn Nazi flag, like same color red, black swastika with a white background, like fucking everything. On the bed of the truck was a big ass swastika symbol. And he had little swastika flags on the front of this 1950s step side. And I was just sitting, and it passed our convoy. And we're like, that is the weirdest goddamn truck to see in Kuwait.
Yeah. Did you ever get an answer?
Fuck no. It's not like we stopped the guy. I was like, why are you driving that truck? I have no idea why there's somebody cruising around in a fucking Nazi truck in Kuwait. I really don't.
Well, I guess he was just a big fan.
I don't know if he was like, I don't know if somebody just told him that it was like, it was like maybe it was early 1950s or mid 1940s truck. I don't know what year, but it was like, maybe you should paint it like the Nazis, because that's what all the trucks looked like back then. Like, what if somebody just told him something and he didn't know? Like,
like the dumbest motherfucker on the car lot.
Right? Like, I have no idea why there was like a fully restored truck from like fucking 1950s with swastikas on it. I really don't. In Kuwait. I really, really don't.
That's weird. Fuck.
Ian Sane, I guess that's insane, but Ian Sane, get it? His name is Ian, so he's like Ian Sane, 666. Says, Mr. Wizard, there are 3,000-year-old pagan runic symbols, and it's because there are more Nazis than you think. I guess so. I don't think the 3,000-year-old runic symbols had the red with the black and everything, though. Yeah, this guy was straight driving a Nazi truck.
What did that have to do with it?
I have no idea. I really don't know the answer to these questions. Some of my stories from the war zones don't make any fucking sense. People don't even believe they're real, but I swear to God. You can ask some of my friends.
And they're all dead, so they can't lie.
No, I've been really wanting to get some of my old war buddies on a stream and just talk. Like, they're not YouTubers. They're not guys who like to talk publicly about things. But now that I'm in this business, I would love to get some of my old guys onto a show and just to talk about our convoy days and everything.
Right. So are you?
I'm working it out with a few of them. Problem is, a lot of them, if they do it, they want to remain anonymous. And it's hard when you have military buddies. It's hard not to call them by their last name, because that's how everybody knows each other. Like, half of my sergeants, I don't fucking know their first name, and it'd be really hard because you're so used to it. It'd be really hard to be like, hey, Jones, and then you end up accidentally doxing somebody. And so a lot of them are worried about that. So I've hit some people up on Facebook and stuff, but that's the only reason I still have a personal Facebook, is to keep in touch with old military pals. Right. But it is difficult to get people to come on to a live show with people watching when this is not their world. They don't fully understand it. You know, some of my buddies, they write me on Facebook. They're like, "Oh, I saw your show on YouTube. It was fucking awesome, man. It's fucking great. Hey, you want to come on a live show? Fuck no, that ain't my thing, man. Hey, hell no.
Hell no. Oh, no.
In fact, I think there was only one stream I actually got some in real life friends on, and they weren't even military buddies. And I instantly was just like, I'm gonna send a link to Mundane Matt. Just see him pop on and have a talk with some in real life buddies. And did I make that fucking mistake? I made a big mistake. Because as soon as Matt showed up, he was like, "Tell me about the real Magog." And instantly my friends came up with the most embarrassing fucking story they knew about me. Motherfucker. Now Monday Matt, every now and again, Monday Matt, every now and again, Monday Matt's like, "So, Jeremy, I hear your sister's hot." Fuck you, Matt. Like,
all the times you peed yourself.
Right.
All those things. All right.
Got all the fucking drunk stories and everything, man. I was like, thanks, guys. Thanks in real life, buddies. Appreciate that.
Well, that's the way it is.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. What?
Yeah, the weed whacker guy's out. Probably going to hear it in the background of my microphone.
Nope.
It's an apartment complex. They have to keep the fucking, grass cut every fucking week and shit, to keep it nice.
Sure.
So, like, about Wednesday or Thursday in the middle of the day, every fucking week, it's like outside my fucking window. Makes it hard to record.
I can't hear anything, though. But,
I could hear it in my headphones. Maybe you guys can't, but I was just warning you in case you did hear something weird. It wasn't me farting or anything. It's going to be the fucking weed whacker guy.
Right. It would be hard to mistake those two.
Yeah. I don't know. Things sound weird. You tell me all the time that I fucking sound like somebody I don't sound like. So maybe I sound different through a microphone. I don't know.
Oh, you're talking about Rageaholic.
Yeah. Everybody Undoomed seems to think that I sound like Razor Fist when he's not being Razor Fist. Like when he's just talking, like in his live streams and stuff, and he's not being the over ambitious, eccentric, radio host type personality, that I sound like him. I don't hear it.
Well, it's in his Deep Space Nine videos. Those the depth of DS9. Have you seen those?
Yeah. Those are him just being the normal guy. A lot of his gaming streams are the same way. He doesn't do the Rageaholic thing.
Yeah. And
he just plays the game and talks, like a normal person. And exactly. It might be because we're both Southern or slightly Southern. I don't know.
I don't know where he's from.
Yeah, I know TJ Kirk has a Southern accent. A little bit.
Right. He's from Louisiana, right?
Yeah. Are we sure it's Louisiana? I don't know. It might be Georgia. I can't remember, honestly. It could be Louisiana. But I do know he lived in the South for a long time.
Right.
So I still get that, like, is that TJ in a hood? Like, a lot, I still get those comments. Like, I've talked to TJ. I'm like, dude, we're gonna have to get on a live show sometime. But
it's just weird. I was just watching a tutorial a couple hours ago on a new software system, and it was being narrated by this fucking dolt from, I don't know, the depths of Florida. It's just, you just can't take it seriously. It's so weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those guys who like go catfishing and
noodling.
Yeah. And that kind of shit. He sounded like that. And like, you're gonna tell me how to run a computer, really?
You know what? I'm going to share a little something because I can do a really great, like, ridiculous Southern voice. Like, this is how I normally talk, but I did grow up in the South, so I can pull the "man, get her done." I can pull that.
Right.
My first actual idea, way before I created Magog, way before I decided to, like, get into the political and social sphere, my first idea for YouTube was something called Redneck Artist.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to be, you were never going to see my face, just my hands. The camera was going to be above my art desk. And I was going to teach people how to draw and paint and do, like, great stuff, both on the tablet digitally and in Photoshop, as well as like in real life, like how to sketch and how to draw, how to shade. But I was going to do it as a redneck because I thought that was like a unique, it'd make me stand out on YouTube. So the videos are going to be like, you're looking down on an art desk and you're just going to see these hands with the pencils and pens and all that stuff. But you're also going to see like a can of beer, and it was going to be filled with actual tutorial, but with jokes too. So I was going to be like this redneck artist going, okay, here's what you're going to need. You're going to need your pencils, you're going to need your pens, and you're going to need your goddamn beer. Okay? Because if you're not half drunk when you go to draw naked women, you ain't ever going to get nowhere. Okay? Today we're going to draw some boobies, and we're going to try to sell them down at the flea market.
Of course.
Everybody knows. Yeah, get her done. I tell you what, man, everybody knows that the booby drawings down at the flea market sell like hotcakes.
And that goddamn cable guy just came up and stole your act.
He never did the artist thing, but yeah, definitely. Larry the Cable Guy was a huge influence in my younger years. The Blue Collar Comedy Tour was, period. It's the South. Everybody knew Blue Collar. Everybody knew Jeff Foxworthy and fucking, fucking Get Her Done, fucking Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah. What's Foxworthy?
Ron White and Bill Engvall. Those were
what is Foxworthy's slogan?
You might be a redneck.
Right. Yeah. That's right.
You might be a redneck.
You might be a redneck.
I love his redneck words too. Like redneck words. Mayonnaise. Mayonnaise, a lot of people here today. One of the ones I remember was, would you, did you? That's a redneck word. Hey, you didn't bring your truck, would you, did you?
Well, technically, that's correct.
Right? Yeah. Now, like people are snack is like, stick to your day job, Magog. Oh, come on, man. That was a good idea. Redneck artist? Who's ever heard of a redneck artist before? That's a good idea.
Pregnant pause.
Everybody's a critic. Everybody's a fucking critic. Everybody's a fucking... I thought you were going to say something after that. I thought you were going to defend me. I thought I was going to be like, come on, man, that's a good idea. And Undude was going to be like, actually, it is. Nobody's ever heard of a redneck artist. But nope, dead silence. Left me hanging. Left me hanging, Undoomed. Left me fucking hanging.
Well, it's more fun that way, isn't it?
It's more fun to just leave me dangling on the edge of a fucking cliff. Here I am trying to entertain your audience.
Well, that's what you're doing. You're doing a great job.
Yep. Straight Sith male says you might be a redneck if you live in a rural area and act as such. Yep, that's
okay. That's just the clinical definition. Thank you. We have a scientist in the room.
Yep.
Sith male. You're gonna get banned. You know that, right?
Right.
That they're gonna figure out that you mean white male. Just that's the only thing it is, and then they're gonna ban you.
What are the qualifiers for a redneck, honestly? Like, am I a redneck? Because I'm like really artistic and well-read, and I went to school, and I finished school, and I got a degree, and I've traveled the world and everything. But at the same time, I was a truck driver. I grew up in Arkansas. I love fishing.
Yeah, no. It doesn't have to do with what you work with or anything like that. I think it's basically just first of all, you have to have the accent. That's pretty much number one. And then it doesn't hurt if you're a little bit undereducated. Right?
Right. Okay. Is that really a thing?
I don't know. They seem to take great pride in it. Like, I don't give a shit about your fancy shit.
I guess so. It's being a redneck, you definitely have to be kind of blue collar.
Yeah.
You definitely have to be like the working's man. you know.
But basically, you have to have the accent, and if you can do the accent and you're actually enjoying it and proud of it, then I guess you're a redneck. I guess it's as simple as that. It's more about just, the way you talk, I think.
Well, that's why I also knew I had to change my voice to create the character of Magog.
Right.
There's no way I could be in a fantasy world based on medieval Europe if I'm all like, "Hey, everybody, how you doing today?"
Yeah. How's that? What's the voice of Poe?
That's a strange. I was just fucking around, and
no. But how would that sound in redneck speak?
I tell you what, I went fishing. I tell you, I went down there to the goddamn river and caught me a goddamn catfish.
Man, it is really, just that accent is kind of a handicap because remember Star Trek Enterprise?
Of course.
That fucking chief engineer, he was a redneck.
Well, they never had a redneck on Star Trek, so why not give it a try?
Yeah. It was just, oh my God. Will you stop with a fucking catfish already? He's always like, oh, they're serving catfish in the galley tonight. Oh, Jesus.
Catfish good eating. Shut up, Undoomed.
Well, I can't eat fish. That's for cats.
I don't even eat fish. Now, it just depends on your situation. My boss, my old boss, I should say, the guy used to give me cleaning contracts through. He got bit by a Lone Star tick, and afterwards he couldn't eat red meat anymore.
Right.
Because it gave him that fucking disease or genetic fucking malfunction. So after one tick bite, after a lifetime of eating steak and burgers and all kinds of shit, he can't eat venison, he can't eat deer, he can't eat red meat, he can't eat any meat from a fucking mammal. He can only eat fowl and fish. Like he can only eat chicken and fish.
You know those zombie movies, right? Where they have a gun and they're getting down to the last bullet and they say fuck it and they shoot the zombie in the head and say like, yeah, you're gonna have to work for your meal, and then they limp off and they get eaten, right?
Right.
You save that bullet for when you can't eat meat. That's when you actually use it.
Right.
Fuck the zombies. You can try to fight your way, that's okay. But when you can't eat real meat, you eat the bullet.
Yeah, he can't. Peterbilt Confederacy says pork ain't red meat though. Yeah, I can't eat pork either though. It's basically meat from all mammals, and it's not Lyme disease. I saw that question in there, Frank. It's not Lyme disease. It's a special thing that only the Lone Star tick gives you if you get bit by one. And we have them here. There's a reason they're called the Lone Star tick. They have a single white star-shaped dot on their belly. And for some reason, they have an enzyme that they inject into your fucking body when they bite you, and it changes your fucking genetic allergies or whatever. Like my boss has been able to eat, my boss, Dan, was able to eat red meat all his life until he went to clear an acre in his backyard, went off in the woods with a weed whacker and all that stuff to clear an acre. And he was chainsawing trees and all kinds of stuff, got a tick on him. It bit him, and he didn't even know it. He just pulled the fucker off like you do with ticks. And 2 or 3 days later, he was eating a fucking burger and started choking. His throat closed up, and they had to fucking call an ambulance. And he has to carry an EpiPen with him at all times now in case he accidentally imbibes some fucking juice from like certain restaurants that cook their chicken on the same grill as they cook their burgers. He can't fucking eat there because if any of that burger juice gets into the chicken, it'll fucking kill it.
And now we know why Darth Vader has his suit.
It's gonna live in a bubble. But
I can eat all the fucking meat I find because there's no ticks and can get through my suit.
I was like, man, all these like massive walks, like, oh, we're gonna walk a mile for breast cancer, and they have a little ribbon or whatever. Why ain't anybody doing that for the tragedy of the people who get bit by a Lone Star tick and can't eat meat anymore? Like, I want to walk that mile. I'll huff and puff over the fucking finish line, eating a burger.
Sure.
At the same time, like those poor people. Like, you don't hold a marathon to solve this problem and then serve burgers at the finish line. You fucking insensitive prick.
That'd be a good way to do it, though. Like, you're kind of exhausted now. You need something to eat. Just get the fucking burger. It'll be better than death.
Yeah, man. My boss Danny had to buy 2 grills. So that, like, for his daughters and his wife and stuff, they'll cook up burgers for 4th of July and a whole separate grill just to cook chicken.
I mean, you got to hand it to the guy. He's a hero. I mean, I would have just taken the burger and died happy. He's really devoted. Fuck.
Well, I guess, once something like that happens to you, you do try to choose life. I mean, nobody's that suicidal, but still, imagine never being able to eat a steak again.
Well, there's only so much I can accept,
Right. I can imagine that if that ever happened to you. I can imagine your last video on YouTube. Hey, everybody. Sorry. It's been a while since I posted a video, but
no.
And then it just displays a picture of a steak and says goodbye,
Nothing so dramatic. No, it's just, what if you woke up and Lorena Bobbitt cut your dick off? How happy would you be then?
I wouldn't be happy, but at least there's fixes for that. See, the red meat thing, there's no fix for that. The doctor just hands you an EpiPen and go, don't eat red meat anymore. Or eat
How the fuck do you fix your dick?
But there is cosmetic surgery. If they can take a dick and turn it into a vagina on a trans person, or give a woman a dick if she wants to be a man, I can go get my dick replaced. God damn it. There is a way. They'll take some fatty tissue from my thigh and build me a new penis.
No. They can make a dick from a vagina. The other way around. They can make a vagina from a dick because they just invert it. Yes, how are you going to invert nothing?
They have successfully replaced genitalia. They've given females who want to transition to males a penis.
Yes, but it's basically it's just a skin flap.
No, it's more advanced now, man. They connect all the nerve endings and everything, dude. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, but you have no nerve endings when they cut off your dick.
No, you still have nerve endings. They've just been cut.
It's not like fucking, a power strip where you just, let's just connect this fucker here and just.
No, yeah, they have all kinds. I watched a documentary of a guy who lost his penis and he got a new one, and they fucking he can feel pleasure through it and everything, but because the nerve endings were severed due to this accident, it wasn't his wife who cut it off, like it was a workplace thing, like he fell on a fucking saw or something. I don't know. but basically they gave him a new dick and it had like this pump. So because the nerve endings were so deteriorated, they were able to connect enough of them that he feels pleasure, but not enough of the blood vessels to get it to where he could get erect naturally, like with blood flow. So they put this pump inside the fucking penis and it has like a button under the balls.
Yeah.
And he just sits there and pumps that motherfucker up anytime he wants, man. He just reaches under his balls and pushes the button until that fucker's hard. Like, I'll deal with that. I can deal with that. I can't deal with never eating meat again.
Well, so my original statement was correct.
No, you were the one who were like, what happens if somebody cuts your dick off? You just blow your brains out.
I was, my original statement was that beef is life.
Yes, that is true. We're in agreement. What happened to my boss and many, many others who've gotten that meat allergy after being bit by a Lone Star tick are fucking miserable. I love red meat. Now, I know I'm back on my diet and everything. School's over. The stress is over. I'm trying to lose a little weight. And that's fucking natural. It's an ebb and flow for me because sometimes it's hard to get back into the gym and everything with my injuries from Iraq. It's hard to do certain exercises. Hurts my fucking back. I've got a ruptured disc, man. There's only certain things I can do. But at the same time, it's not like I just gave up meat because it's bad for me. I mean, when I have my cheat day on Fridays, I go out and get me a steak. Imagine not having that option.
Right, right. What kind of steakhouses you get over there? Is there like a chain that I would know out there?
Maybe. It's the South, man. We have all kinds of shit. I
Yeah, I
mean,
know. You probably have way
so
better.
we have, yeah. I mean, we get beef, and most of the steakhouses. I mean, they serve upwards of 20 ounces or higher steaks. I mean, it's fucking South, man. People love steak. You go to the fucking. We have Colton's. We have fucking Roadhouse. We have fucking. I mean, you name it. Chili's. I mean, almost every fucking sit down restaurant has some sort of steak on the menu.
Right.
Even
right.
Waffle House has steak. Waffle House has steak. The only problem is what they call steak, I call beef jerky. Nobody gets a steak from Waffle House and goes, "That's a good steak." It's $10. That tells you what kind of meat it is.
Steak is your main thing, or what?
The what?
Steak is your main thing.
What do you mean main thing? What are you
asking? I don't know. I'd probably say like ribs would be my main thing. But,
oh yeah, no, I mean I love me some steak, but it's the South. I love it all, man. We got pulled pork down here. We got barbecue. We got ribs. I love me some baby back ribs, man. Yeah. I love me some fucking tender ribs, man. I love when the meat falls off the bone. You ain't got to chew it like a proper smoked rack of ribs that's been smoked 4 or 5 hours, and you just pull the bone out, and the meat stays behind, and you're like, yes,
that is good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, that's some good. And I like it all too. I like sauces. I like dry rub. I like unseasoned. I mean, as long as it's cooked properly, it all tastes good to me. Mm-hmm. You know, some vegetarian professor of mine was actually eating in the cafeteria and asked to join the students because he wanted to talk to us. Mm-hmm. And he had a salad that he brought from home, and he pulled the salad out and drenched it in this fucking salad dressing. And I'm over there eating this fucking burger from the cafeteria. Mm-hmm. And he started telling us about how he's a vegetarian and that it's better for you and all this and that. And I was just like, what are your reasonings behind that? And he's like, well, if you look at human beings, we don't actually like the taste of blood. What? And I'm like, I beg to fucking differ. Yeah. And he's like, well, if we were meant to eat meat, why would you put seasoning and barbecue sauce all over the meat to make it taste better? And I was like, why you put salad dressing on your fucking leaves? Yeah. And he was like, oh, you got a point there. Like, don't tell. I was like, I like meat without any seasoning. I will cook a steak fresh from the package and not put a goddamn thing on it. That's how much I like meat. And he was like, that ain't true. And I was like, it is fucking true. Why you? I was like, do you eat salad just all by itself? You're just like, this leaf of lettuce tastes good. No, you drench that shit in fucking dressing and all kinds of shit. You can put fucking tomatoes in it, cucumbers. Fucking hell, man.
Oh, yeah. Fucking and cheese and all that stuff. I don't know. Can they eat cheese? Yeah, the
vegetarians can.
Yeah,
the vegans don't.
Vegans can.
Right. The difference between vegan and vegetarian is vegan won't touch any product from an animal.
Right, right.
Where vegetarians are more concerned about like how animals are killed. So they'll totally it doesn't kill the cow to drink milk because you can just milk the cow. The cow's fine, right? You can make cheese from the milk. It's fine. Right. But and now I have met some vegetarians that won't eat eggs because it's basically an unfertilized, but it never had a chance at life. Mm-hmm. But other than that, they'll eat cheese at least, or they'll eat, fucking milk, or they'll drink milk or whatever have you. But vegans are like, no animal products whatsoever.
Right.
It's like, wow. And then there's like fruitarians or something that are like really weird. They're the ones that won't eat anything unless it has naturally fallen from a tree.
Right.
So if you pick an apple early, you've murdered it.
I know. That was Steve Jobs. He was a fruitarian. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's why he died.
Right. Yeah, maybe. Inner City Pigeon says good beef is good with just salt and pepper. Yeah, he makes a good point. Yeah, sometimes all you need is a little salt and pepper, and sometimes not even that. Depends on the steak. Sometimes I don't even put salt and pepper on it. Sometimes I just let it marinate in some nice red wine or a nice mixture of soy and Worcester sauce. You know, that's always good. Worcestershire. I can never say that word. Worcestershire sauce.
Yeah, me neither. It's like Worcester sauce, I think, right?
Yeah. You got to say it like fast because it's actually spelled funny.
It's spelled like it's Worcester, but I think it's supposed to be Worcester or something.
Yeah. Worcestershire sauce. Whatever. Fucking that shit you put on stuff makes it delicious. That's what I call it. We have some commercials down here for hot sauce. I love the commercial with the old lady, the old grandma. They're like, this is grandma's hot sauce recipe, and we guarantee it and all this and that. And then you hear the old lady voice. This is how they literally end their commercials. The old lady comes on and goes, I put that shit on everything. And it blanks out the word shit. But that's their slogan is I put that shit on everything.
Well, you got to congratulate the ad people for having the balls.
I know, right? Like you hear it on the radio, it goes, I put that beep on everything. Like they have to beep it, but it's funny as fuck.
Yeah, because normally people like that, they're going to be sitting there like, oh, well, what if we offend this group? And what if we offend that group? And how are these groups? Blah, 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 you know? They're always so timid.
Yeah.
And then you have someone, let's just make our fucking slogan. We put that shit on everything.
Wow. Oh, yeah. That's people who don't care about fucking censorship or people's fucking, I'm offended by that, whatever.
Yeah.
Plus, I like that they're like fucking mascot essentially is like an old lady who doesn't give a shit about people. Like, I love that. She seems like one of those get off my lawn types, like, yeah. I put that shit on everything. Grandma, you said shit. Fuck off. Now, one of the worst hot sauces I ever tried was at this little fucking, like family-owned little restaurant that served all kinds of burgers and steaks and stuff. And they had a hot sauce there that they made and put labels on themselves and everything. And they eventually started selling them in local flea markets and eventually made it to the shelves of like grocery stores.
Right.
And it was called Scorned Woman.
Whoa.
And yeah, it was called Scorned Woman and had this little cartoon succubus on it with like huge boobs. And it said at the bottom, hell hath no fury. Because that's the saying, hell hath no fury, like a woman scorned.
Yeah,
and so that shit burned, dude. That shit, like, you couldn't even taste the burger. It was so fucking hot. It was made with one of the hottest peppers in the world, and it was just god-awful. I got up to go to the bathroom, and my buddies poured a shit ton of it into my sweet tea as a joke. And I sat back down after I went to fucking take a piss, and I started drinking my sweet tea. And my fucking sinuses cleared out. Like,
cleared out. They disappeared.
Yeah, fuck. I was expecting to drink this delicious, sweet concoction of the South with cool ice cubes in it. And instead, I got flaming devil's asshole going down my fucking throat. Holy fuck, that hurt.
I don't understand hot sauces that are that hot.
Oh yeah, I don't get
it. I don't know. What are you supposed to put them on? Is it just, for like doing your dude thing with the other dudes and being more dudish?
I've never really cared for super hot things, but some people, they actually have a taste for it. My buddy eats so much hot food that he got immune as he grew up because he ate so much hot food and spicy stuff. He put hot sauce on, he started off with something mild like Texas Pete or Louisiana hot sauce. And he put it on his eggs. He put it on his fucking burgers. He put it on fucking everything. And eventually he built up an immunity to it. And now in his ripe old age of 33, that motherfucker needs like ghost peppers to taste anything. Like, he just built up a tolerance to where he could just fucking eat anything. And it's just like, man, how did that not tear your fucking asshole out? Like Jesus Christ. Last time I ate something that hot, I shit for 2 days straight and it was like hot lava.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's good that they're different people, different.
Yeah, some of it is kind of like a manly, I dare you to eat it type of thing. It's the same with these like disgusting shots at the bar.
That's pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much what my experience of it. No one goes up to the fucking hot sauce aisle and they're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get the death sauce." You're probably gonna be like, Tabasco's fine.
It's like when you go to buy some weed or something, and they're like, "Okay, right here we have your average, Arkansas Ozark bud. I like it. It's a good mild high, and it doesn't last very long, so you can go to work after about 20 minutes. Or right here we have something called mind rape." And you're like, "I'll take the Ozark, but who would buy mind rape?" What's the most disgusting shot you've ever had? Like, I got dared to do some shots when I was in the military that were just like, why were these invented? They're just there to prove how manly you are. And I think back, and out of everything, I've had bar rag shots, I've had Old Crow, I've had concrete mixers. I mean, you name it. But the worst shot,
I don't know. The concrete are pretty bad, though.
Yeah, they are. You got to drink them fast because it curdles that fucking cream. When they squeeze the lemon in it. Yeah, but I had something worse than that. It was called Smoker's Phlegm. That was the name of the shot.
Okay, what's that?
And it was vodka, green apple pucker, and a scoop of mayonnaise.
Oof. Why? Why?
Oh, God damn. Oh, my God.
Why?
The moment that mayonnaise hit the apple pucker and vodka, it was like yellow. It looked like Smoker's Phlegm. It looked like you smoke a whole pack and then you go to bed and you wake up the next morning and you're like, into the sink, Right. Like that's why it was called that. And it was, there was no way to drink it fast. I tried to put it to the back of my throat so my tongue didn't taste it. But the mayonnaise like clumped and then stretched. It turned into snot. So when it came out of the shot, it stretched out. So it touched my tongue anyway. And it slid down the back of my throat like a fucking raw egg, like an egg yolk. And it was just, I instantly just threw up into the nearest pint glass that was empty on our table. Like, you're lucky I didn't lech onto the floor, Like, the bartender was like, "You want to know if you're a man? Try Smoker's Phlegm." And I was like, and we were drunk, so we were like, "Give it to me." And he lined up the shots, and then he went into the back. He was like, "Hold on." And he went into the back, and he wheeled out a fucking mop bucket because he knew he'd have to clean the floor up.
Why would he do that, though?
Because that was the promotion of the bar that we went to when we were young airmen, okay? Like, that was one of their things. We serve shit here that you can't fucking get anywhere else.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. Fucking mayonnaise in a shot.
Yeah, I've never heard mayonnaise as a ingredient in a drink before. That was new.
Oh, yeah. Oh, fucking hell, man. I'd honestly rather just, like, fucking drink an Appletini and just have people call me gay than to ever drink that thing again.
Yeah, that's weird. So it just turned to Jello, huh?
Oh, it was bad. It turned into snot. It was that just fucking hell. Whatever that chemical reaction is. Because
it's so weird because, all of those ingredients are fine. And then apparently when you put them together, it just fucks everything up, right?
Yeah, but what about you? You got to answer the question. What was the most disturbing, nasty fucking...
I think it's the fucking concrete thing.
Concrete mixer or Irish car bomb, as they're sometimes known. Bailey's Irish cream and a little squeeze of lemon.
Yeah.
To curdle the cream.
Yeah, I think they put vodka in there as well.
Yeah, to make it stronger, but typically it's just Bailey's, and because Bailey's already has fucking alcohol.
It's Bailey's to get the sort of weird texture, and then they just put in the lemon shit, and it just completely curdles, and then just vodka to make you drunk, I guess.
Yeah, Anti-Hero Broadcast says, "Man, I tuned in at the wrong fucking time." You are right, sir. We are talking about some gross shit.
Yep. We already talked about the bearing thing, so fortunately there's a rewind button here on this YouTube thingy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we definitely discussed that to the point of the. I don't want to discuss much more because then that'd be too much speculation.
Yeah, yeah.
We were talking about YouTube and their policies and all that stuff and being real vague with their reasons why they terminate an entire fucking channel. But other than that, we don't know the truly real reason until we can talk to Bearing. Almost
yeah, yeah, and like we said, just to sort of finish that off, like we said, we don't know why it happened. Nobody knows, and Bearing is sleeping right now, so we can't ask him, and that's about it.
Right. Yep. That motherfucker's 16 hours ahead right now. So, you know.
Yep.
And that's of my time on Doom's time. He lives out on West Coast, so it's what 18 hours ahead or something. You know, like geez. So,
wouldn't I be closer then?
Yeah, like
me and time zones.
So yeah, you might be because you're getting closer to that side of the world. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But,
I think Australia is closer to me than you.
Definitely. Yeah. I don't know which way the time zones go though. If it goes the same way,
it goes. If you're closer, then the time is closer. Like it's as simple as that.
Yeah, but from what side of the world? Fucking world's round.
Doesn't matter. You know, if you're closer, then your time zone is closer.
Right. But right? Yeah, I'm sure he's fucking pissed. I'm sure he's pissed. He woke up and had all this fucking termination shit, and oh man, he was. I can't imagine that 400,000 subscribers just gone. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
And if he doesn't get it back like Dapperton did, that's really going to hurt him. I'm sure he has a loyal enough following when he starts a new channel or whatever.
Sure.
You know,
but it's just such a blow.
Yeah, it is. That's got to be a nut shot from hell. It's just got to hurt your pride, you know.
Yeah, and it's just not. It's not just your pride. It's sort of it probably cuts deeper than that.
Yeah,
it's really a low blow.
And especially with somebody like Bearing, it's also his livelihood. It's his job. He doesn't have a normal. I mean, I still think he, goes and plays with his band or whatever, but I don't think he has like a normal job.
No, he quit his job to do this full time. He was one of the guys that actually went full time.
Right.
And the reason why I haven't been posting videos so much lately is because my actual day job has been booking the shit out of me. I've been, they take advantage of every fucking hour. I kind of feel guilty for having this talk with you because I probably should be working. Even though I've already been up for over 24 hours working straight.
Right. Yeah, you've got a lot to do, man. I understand. And we are about 15 minutes away from the 2 hour mark. I think we started about 1:20 my time, and it's 3:00 now. So
right.
You can end this anytime you got to go get some sleep and get back to work, dude. It's up to you. I've said my piece on the Bearing thing. We've had a good discussion. We talked about some pretty fun stuff.
Right. No, but I think I should just explain that to people who are listening that, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not quitting YouTube or anything. It's just right now, my day job is just really booking the shit out of me. And I'm not going to say no to that because, yeah, that's a real job. They pay, unlike YouTube. So,
yeah. I mean, right now,
I got to pay the rent, motherfucker.
Right. Well, right now, people like me and Bearing and Mundane Matt and Sargon and everybody else who makes money strictly on YouTube, we basically make our money off of the grace and charity of our fans because
yes.
The monetization is just not enough anymore. It's barely anything.
Yeah.
So, and that kind of sucks because now it's money directly from our fans' pockets and not just like, hey, sit through an ad and we're good to go. It doesn't cost you money. Right. It doesn't cost me money. All it costs for the fans is 30 seconds of their time.
Not even that. They could skip the ad after 4 seconds, basically.
In order for it to count as an actual ad, though, it has to play for 15 seconds.
Okay. Well, whatever. It worked very well before this shit happened,
Yeah, I mean, I just let it go, man. Like, unless it's like one of these, like sometimes I'll get an ad that's like, it's a 2 hour long documentary before your video starts. Fuck you, I'm skipping it. But if it's 30 seconds, even if it has a skip button, I'm like, I just let it play. I'll give that person some money because it's 30 seconds that I can just ignore and sit here. I could have another web page open and be looking at something, you know?
Right.
It's
but,
not a big deal.
You're missing my point, though. The point was that before all this bullshit, this system worked perfectly.
Yeah, it did. It really, I don't know what happened. I mean, I know what happened physically. Like first it started with the, Washington Post or whoever, or Wall Street Journal fucking doing their Nazi hit piece on PewDiePie. And it just started this massive avalanche of like, there's Nazis everywhere and we should, the ad agencies bailed. I know what physically happened. I don't know why all of a sudden it just happened in 2016. Like, I don't get it. It was because Trump got elected and everybody, all the ideologues on the left were just like, that's it. We're not taking this anymore. I don't know what happened. I really don't know why or what their reasons were. Why they decided to just be like, oh, let's go after the platform that's kicking our ass right now. That's probably it, honestly. Like these fucking journalists are like, I'm the one with the real job. It's not fair that some guy with a webcam can make more money than me and he has no overhead. Because he doesn't have a fancy studio and all kinds of this and that and lighting, and all he's got to do is turn on his camera and report on a news story and he gets millions of views. Fuck that guy. Let's go after him. They recently tried to go after the super chat thing. I saw that. Like, did you see that? Like some news article from, I don't know if it was like BuzzFeed or I can't remember who originally did it. I saw a bunch of reposts, but some news agency out there decided to be like, YouTube allowing super chats is only increasing offensive content or some bullshit. And it's like, Jesus Christ. Now they're going after the super chat money.
Yeah. I mean, there has to be some point where people who care about free speech just say it's enough. I don't know. I don't understand how much it's going to take. We're apparently not there yet, but Jesus, getting close.
Yeah, no, I really, it became a free speech thing, but I think it just started out as like these mainstream media things started to realize that people on the internet are able, like it was the new thing. It was the new age and it was kicking their fucking ass. Audiences were going away from cable TV and cable news and coming to the internet. And people saw that individuals could make a shit ton of money on the internet. And by doing the same thing that they're doing for practically no cost. And like my startup for my channel, as complicated as it is with a set and a costume and a character and a production value, was still only about $4,000. What does it cost a news agency to run a fucking show? And they got pissed.
$4,000 won't even get you an hour.
Nope. I think that's really where it started, is they were like, no, this is going to kill us if we don't fight. This is going to kill us.
That's kind of like the death throes of the record industry before they sort of just gave in to Spotify and all that shit.
Right. I think that there will be eventually mainstream media will just be like, fine, let's just do everything on the internet.
Yeah. It's inevitable.
Right. But along the way,
I don't even know if, I haven't hooked up my TV to a fucking aerial in 10 years. I don't even know how to do that anymore. Is there even such a thing as
well, there's local, but
I haven't tried in 10 years because why? What do I care? I don't want to look at your shit when you try to speak. You try to force feed me shit. I don't look at that.
And nobody, like, I haven't bought cable in years or dish or anything. I just buy internet.
Yeah.
Everything I want is just on the internet. If I want to watch a TV show that's on cable, I'll just go to the fucking Amazon Prime or something. Go to Hulu or Netflix or whatever. They'll eventually get it and you can watch it.
Yeah. And the wait isn't long at all.
No, it's just.
I mean, as a matter of fact, they probably will have it a hell of a lot sooner than a TV station will.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I mean, the death throes of mainstream media and cable is felt throughout the digital world because the downside is they actually have the money to fight. Where like one thing is like we're stealing their audience and making a bunch of money as individual creators, but they have like big time network money and fucking stockholders and everything. They have millions of dollars at their disposal that they can run some fucking news story and get a lot of national attention.
Yeah, but that only gets them so far. It's kind of like the same old thing as the guys with the record industry. Sure, they were the fat cats and they had all the money, more money than God and all that, but it doesn't last forever, you know?
No, it doesn't.
And sooner or later, they're just going to have to accept that, okay, well, we can sit here and whine like little bitches, or we can get with a program.
Right. Now, you know, Mara Croft in the chat says, oh, has Sargon of Akkad heard of this bearing thing? I'm sure he has.
Yeah.
I have no doubt. You know,
no, I'm probably thousands of people have probably mailed him by now.
Yeah, no, he's heard of it, even though he's not on Twitter anymore and stuff. Like he's heard it. He has bearing on Skype.
Yeah,
you know, so do I. You know, like I haven't messaged him because I want to leave him alone. Personally, I'm pretty sure everybody has tried to reach out to him and ask him what happened. I'm not going to be that guy that does, because everybody else has beat me to the punch. What can I say? Hey, Bearing, it's Magog. Remember me? Sorry this happened to you. Like he's probably got 1,000 messages by now.
Right.
But
right.
you know, it would, if I have bearing on Skype, Sargon definitely does. You know,
of course. No, I sent Bearing a message before as well, but you know, it's middle of the night, so I just basically told him that you know, if there's anything I can do to help him out.
Yeah, if he needs a shill, if he needs a GoFundMe to help him raise some money until he gets back up on his feet and tries another platform, if they won't give it back to him. If they don't give it back to him, he'll have to move to like BitChute, like Suit Yourself did.
Right.
Well, Suit Yourself is now on BitChute, everybody. If you guys want to help him out, just go over there and subscribe. At least give him some numbers.
Right.
You know,
right.
The problem is BitChute isn't a half bad alternative. You can take your audience with you that's already dedicated, but you can't grow over there. They just don't have the user base. No. So you can at least survive by the dedicated audience that follows you, but you may not be able to grow an audience and cultivate any bigger of an audience because they just don't have the user base right now. I hope one day that one of these alternative sites does get the same user base eventually as YouTube, but I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be BitChute. I don't know if it's going to be Minds or some other thing that hasn't been invented yet. You know?
Yeah, it's way too early to tell.
Yeah. And that's why I've made my decision, which was to do premium content on my own website. I hate that I have to do that because that's like going back in time. I remember a time on the internet where anybody wanted to do anything on the internet, you had to start your own shitty fucking website.
Yeah, you know? the guy with the glasses.
Yeah. Now YouTube changed that. Everybody could have a channel and it was free to sign up and it was easy to use and everybody could do it. But now they're forcing us to go back in time a little bit because at least if you own your own website and it's just for your content, the fans who do visit it, they get content that is completely controlled by you and nobody will shut you down, you know?
Yeah.
Unless it's your actual like host. Now, some hosts out there will be like, yeah, we'll host your website as long as you don't curse. Or, you know, because as long as you don't put up, you know, porn videos or anything like that, because they have their name at the very bottom of your website saying hosted by blah, 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 blah. Some hosts are like that. They have rules. And then some hosts are like, fuck, I don't care. We'll give you space. Do what you want, you know?
Yeah.
So
what happened is that there was someone was going to start a country in the middle of the Atlantic on a fucking oil rig or something. Remember that?
Oh, I have no idea what that is. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's probably like at least 5 years ago or something. I don't remember what happened to it. He basically bought an oil rig and he declared himself a country. And, you know, it's like in the middle of international waters. And what are you going to do?
We'll probably start seeing some shit like that because now they can even man-make islands.
Yeah.
Like they've been doing that in like fucking, off of the coast of fucking, off in the Gulf, off in the fucking, you got fucking Dubai and shit. There's islands shaped like palm trees, that they built with, fucking technology and bulldozers and stuff. And they build a wall around it so the fucking water won't come in, and then they build the island and then let the water in, like it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So one of these days, some motherfucker is going to buy an island that's built specifically for him, and he's going to be like, this is fuck off a Stan, and this is my country.
Right. Yes. Here we go. Sir, how do you pronounce that? Sir Sophiel says.
Sophiel. It's an angelic name.
Okay. The Principality of Sealand. That rings a bell. I think that might have been what I was talking about. Sealand. It's kind of a cool name. It reminds me of Waterworld, which is not a good thing. But got to take the good with the bad.
I want to congratulate Sir Zophiel for choosing his online screen name from the Book of Enoch.
Okay.
Fucking angelic script. That's awesome. Zophiel is definitely an angelic name. From the hierarchy of the angels. I can't remember though. Is Zophiel a seraphim or a cherubim? I'd have to look it up again. He's probably a seraphim. He's probably a throne.
Okay, you remember that stuff way better than I do.
Well, I wrote a book on it, so I never published it. But
I just wrote a book on. I just wrote the book on it.
No
big deal.
Well, I never published it, so I'm not trying to show off, but I had to do research for it is what I was saying, and that's how I knew. I was interested in it. It's pretty interesting stuff. So the whole hierarchy of angels and demons and all that stuff, like, fuck, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I've never understood that. There's so many weird things there.
Fucking anti-hero. It's kind of Jewish mysticism. Well, Enochian. Like, I guess Enochian is its own kind of separate version of Catholicism or something. I'd have to look that up again. It's been years since I wrote Tragedy of Angels, but it was a good name for a book. Yeah, I even copyrighted it because I didn't want anybody taking it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just weird with like angels. They look like men and women, and they still don't have sex. I don't
yeah. Well, I don't think that's ever really proven because they do have sex. I mean, they created the Nephilim. I mean, they came down from heaven fell in love with women and were like, let's bang these creatures. And then they gave birth to the half angel fucking giant half breed.
Oh, they had dicks? I didn't know. I thought they were
I guess they had to have if they gave birth to fucking Nephilim. It took a flood to wipe them fucking bastards out.
Okay, so is that like some sort of Hollywood myth that has just sort of etched its way into my mind? Or?
That was just from the movie Dogma when Alan Rickman like opens his pants and he's like, I'm as anatomically correct as a Ken doll. Like
okay.
Like that was just from Dogma because apparently like God got pissed at the angels for doing the whole Nephilim thing and basically decreed that they couldn't have children or have sex anymore.
I'm taking away your dick privileges.
But I don't think that's ever been said in any of the actual like religious doctrine. Like I think that was a Kevin Smith thing.
Right.
Anthony,
go ahead.
Anthony Bailey asked, Magog, do you have the book? I would be interested to read it. That's a complicated question. Yes and no. It was never fully complete, but I have a working manuscript with an outline as well. But I would not share anything that I wouldn't publish. Sorry. I just didn't feel confident enough in my ability to write to complete the story the way I wanted it. I guess I'm just not that confident in my actual fiction writing, but it was a massive drama that spanned 3 books that was all about the battle between heaven and hell. And it had a love story at its core, but it was a horror novel too. I mean, it had fucking war and politics and everything, but it was between angels and the fallen ones.
Right. But did it have lightsabers?
You know, it had a flaming sword, so I guess that it comes close. You know.
I'm not so sure. Gotta have some lightsabers.
Yeah, fucking anti-hero broadcast. How would Magog deal with an angel? That depends on how you define an angel. If it's just one of those little, you know, like the fucking traditional pricks that look like humans but they have wings, maybe you could defeat them. But if they're like an fucking unquantifiable entity from God, like in fucking Evangelical, you know, or what is that fucking anime? Evangelion. Yeah, those things, they're just like, or fucking World of Darkness demon. Like angels are like these big fuck off fucking things that are like hard to fucking imagine. So they're like, here's this flaming butthole with 5 eyes. That's an angel. Like, you know, it's got 18 wings.
I know what you do with them either way. You just make them Amazon drones. They go to Amazon, they pick up your shit, they fly right back. That's fine.
Yeah, if only angels were real, people with wings, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be fucking great delivery service. Hey, I brought your pizza in 3 minutes. I didn't have to fight traffic because I just flew here.
Exactly. So that's how you deal with angels. We ship them off to Amazon.
Right. Anyway, we've hit our 2-hour mark, man. How you feeling?
Yeah, well, you know. I don't know. How's chat doing? Let's see how they're doing.
Yeah, chat, how you guys doing over there? You guys enjoying yourselves, or you fucking be like these pricks again?
Yeah. Are you bored? Should we shut up? we could probably go for half an hour, or we could just quit right now. That's up to you.
Yeah, if you want to leave it up to the chat, man, put a 1 in the chat if you want us to go for 1/2 hour more before Undoomed has to go to get some sleepy buys and then get back to work.
Yep. That's probably a good way to put it.
Yeah, put a 1 in the chat if you want us to keep going. Put a 2 if you want us to just end the pain now.
Yeah, end the pain. Go away, please.
Wow. So far, we've got 4 1s. There's another 1. 1 plus 1.
That's a 2. A tricky one.
That's a 2 right there. I'm sorry. That's a no. Yeah. Kevin, I'm watching you. Kevin. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, it looks like a lot of 1s. So let's go for a half hour more. Yeah. We'll say 4:00 p.m. my time. That's half an hour.
Right.
So anyway,
cool.
Yeah. So we've covered the gambit, haven't we? We started off with YouTube's policies and Bering getting struck down, and moved into disgusting drinks and allergies that stop you from eating meat to fucking angels. Boy, we are really disconnected on this show.
Well, you know, that's the whole point. And you know, I guess that's kind of the beauty of having a channel that doesn't even allow for super chats. It's like, yeah, there's no pressure from anyone. We can just say whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah, and you know, I love these more kind of just like, let's have just a fun conversation and interact with the chat as much as we can. I know we haven't done that the best in the past, but we discussed before we went live, let's pay attention to the chat a little more. Like, you know.
Yeah. It's good. And it's like, this is what it used to be to have a live stream before super chat. You just sort of you saw something interesting and you talked about that. But obviously when there's super chat involved, people are going to get massively pissed off if they pay money and don't get a response. And it sort of skews things a little bit. I'm not saying, you know, it shouldn't be allowed or anything, you know.
Right.
It's just, yeah, it changes the dynamic.
It does, but I also think that a lot of streams, even my own stream, SideQuest, when it kicks back off in June, has a format and has a goal, and that's fine and everything. But I also do kind of like the podcast like Joe Rogan does, where he just gets an interesting person on, has a one-on-one with them, and just talks. Because you never know what's going to come up or what that person is going to say that's just going to kind of blow your mind and make you think of life differently, or just, you know, whatever, you know. And I kind of like that. I like Rogan.
I mean, he's got that weird look. You know his look, right? When he's like, he looks like he doesn't understand a fucking thing you just said.
Yeah, his thing is he's smart, but he's smart in the way that he can
plays dumb.
Yeah, he can remember things. His head is full of all kinds of facts, but he remembers things that have already been explained to him. He didn't figure them out on his own. But that's what sells his show, is that he remembers these things and can talk about them after he learns them. But he's also like a curious child. He's like, "Oh, tell me about that." And then the guy will say something, and then he'll go, "Whoa, you just blew my fucking mind with that. You just blew my fucking mind." You know, like I love that. You know, because we get to live kind of vicariously through Joe Rogan in the way that sometimes some of the stuff said on these streams I didn't know, and I'm like right there with Joe. I'm going, "Whoa, mind fucking blown, man!" Like,
yeah, but he looks so funny when he's got that look.
Yeah, his eyes go wide. Yeah, right.
Oh, wow.
But that's the show I've always really wanted to have outside of being Magog. Like, if I were to start a channel where I do live streams as me, as Jeremy, I want to do it kind of like that. I'd want to get a cool little setup where I have like the microphone hanging down and I got a nice table and I have some notes and I have kind of a clear goal of what I want to at least start talking about, but then just like get a guest on and let them interact with me and learn things or share stories or whatever have you, and then interact with the chat. That's the one thing Rogan doesn't do, is he doesn't really have like a live chat going on or anything. No. It's strictly between him and the person on. But those long form interviews, those are getting very popular because people are really tired of the mainstream, cut down fucking interviews where they'll go, "Okay, come into the studio. We're going to interview you for 30 minutes." And then they end up cutting it down to 5, take you out of context and put you on the show. And then you're like, "That's not what I said at all." They do that to Peterson all the fucking time.
Top Lobster. Yeah.
And people are tired of that.
Speaking of chat here, got a question here from Anti-Hero Broadcast, who wonders why your avatar is a faceless suited man. I don't know if you ever explained that. I actually have explained that, but I can do it again. It was just basically, when I started my channel, I didn't know what to do. But I did know that I wanted to have a suit because I love suits. A suit will make a man feel like $1 million. So obviously I wanted my avatar to have a suit. And then basically the other criteria came in, which was the fact that I wanted to be anonymous. So I started looking at like image banks for where you can buy stock footage and stuff of people. And I figured, that'd be weird. Like if I had some other dude's face or something.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just figured, how about he doesn't have a face at all? And so I just started fucking around in Photoshop and when I was done, I was like, wow, that's Slender Man. And I didn't even think of that till after I was done.
Right.
So I was like, oh, that's Slender Man. That's awesome. I was just, that's it.
I've always wanted to ask, why Undoomed?
Well, that's kind of also one of those things because
God damn it.
I was looking around and at what people were calling themselves, and I just wanted something that would be easy to find because if you search for how many people are there out there who are called the the amazing skeptic or the skeptic this or the logical this or the
yeah no stuff. I mean I get you but why how did you come up with Undoomed?
Well, the thing that really set that off was the fact that for a couple of seconds or whatever, a couple of days, I don't know, but for a short time when I was thinking about starting my channel, I really liked the idea of calling it Unforgiven.
Okay.
But then I started looking into that and I came up with the same problem. Like if anyone's going to search for that, they're never going to find me. They're just going to find the movie.
Right.
Because that's a famous movie and there's a gazillion articles and movie clips and whatever about it. So that's not going to happen. But I really liked that sort of the negation of unforgiven, So that got me thinking, is there another word? And then I came up with undoomed, and I wasn't even sure if it was a real word, but it is, but it's hardly ever used. When I used it in the beginning there was kind of like the results on Google was in the thousands,
right?
Which is crazy. So it is a real word, but it's a word that was never really used.
Right. Yeah, it's left common parlance, but it's still like in the dictionary.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So I figured out that's excellent. Then when I start doing my stuff, then Google will probably direct them to my stuff if they search for me instead of directing them to a Clint Eastwood movie, right?
Right. Right.
So and I also like the symmetry. So it came together in a very, very nice way that I appreciate it, which is you can divide it up so that it's we're doomed, and I'd like to undo that.
Right.
You know,
that no, that makes sense. You're like, fuck it. You know, like maybe if I tear these retards apart, it'll undo the fucking doom we're heading into. You know, like I get that. Yeah, makes sense. It's kind of the same with me. I wanted to choose a word that was fantasy sounding because I'm a fantasy wizard. But was easy to say, easy to spell, and kind of had the playfulness of a dark character, but catchy enough to be where that character could be like a playful necromancer who doesn't, has a dark sense of humor, but also could be like an actual badass name. And that's kind of hard to do, to find the mix between the two, right? So, like, you can't have somebody like John Wick and they're like a goofy motherfucker, right? So, I chose Magog, but after searching it, I realized there was already a channel called Magog, and they basically didn't do anything with it, but I couldn't take it because YouTube has I'd have to put numbers behind it or something.
Right.
And so, like, that person has like 0 subscribers or whatever and isn't even active, but I couldn't just do Magog.
Right.
So I was like, well, what if he's from the kingdom that I've invented for him? And that's hard to spell, Morskar, because it had to sound like a fantasy name. But I was like, if I get big enough, people could just type in Magog, because if you type in Magog in Google, all that really comes up is stuff from the Bible, because there's like a cog and Magog in the Bible. And so I figured anybody searching for Magog is either looking for that particular thing in the Bible or me. And I'm probably not going to attract people who are like hardcore into the Bible anyway. So most people who know about me or want to find out about me because they heard about me could just type in Magog now, because I have 26,000 subs and I am the first thing that pop up. I've even beat out the Bible stuff.
That's good. That's
so
good. Yeah, I remember when I first heard it, I just thought of that TV series from Gene Roddenberry. He had that TV series
Andromeda or whatever.
Andromeda, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I've been told that since I created. I had no idea that even existed. I was never a big, like, huge Star Trek or Gene Roddenberry fan. I like sci-fi movies. We've talked about that, but I'm less inclined to like sci-fi shows. They typically have a pretty low budget and they can get pretty goofy. But I do love sci-fi movies. But I had no idea there was like a race of aliens called Magog.
Right.
I had no idea.
What's your favorite 80s sci-fi?
80s sci-fi?
Right.
Outside of the 80s, the Star Wars that came out in the 80s.
Yeah, they're 70s.
No. Return of the Jedi came out in the 80s.
Yeah.
So technically that's 80s. No,
but that's sequels.
So it's still an 80s sci-fi. They got better with technology.
Okay,
and stuff.
But, if we're gonna have Star Wars in there, then no one needs to speak.
Yeah, I understand. I'm gonna go ahead and say, Jesus, that's hard, because I love Total Recall, but I also love Blade Runner, and those are like top 2 from the 80s for sure. Because they're both based on Philip K. Dick, and I've always kind of liked the whole psychological side of dystopian future worlds. So I don't know, man. That's hard, but because Blade Runner was great, but it was also less fun action-wise than Total Recall.
Mm-hmm.
I love Total Recall. I don't care if people are like, it's a dumb Schwarzenegger movie. I fucking love that movie.
I love it. I love that one too. For fuck's sake, that's a great movie.
Yeah, I love it, man. God, that's hard because there's quite a few others that came out in the 80s that I really enjoyed, but I'm going to go ahead and say Total Recall.
Right.
Yeah, I really am. I'm going to go ahead and say that. I'm going to put that above Blade Runner simply because Blade Runner was also really, really like, there was parts of it that were so ambiguous, and it's just like, what am I supposed to think about this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but that's okay because that's also kind of makes it a good movie. But as far as like the 80s, I've always been partial to the more fun and kind of action oriented, especially in sci-fi.
Yeah, because that was a time when you were allowed to have fun in the movies. So that's
right.
That's probably why there's such a resurgence in the popularity of 80s movies and shit.
Right. So, yeah, you got things like, Time Bandits, which I don't particularly think is sci-fi. I think that's kind of in its own genre, but because it's a time travel movie, but they weren't using science to do it. They were using a fucking magic stone they stole from God. Right. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that's Time Bandits, isn't really sci-fi, but I do love Total Recall, and there's a couple others like. Oh man, let's see. Running Man, another Schwarzenegger, but that was fun. Mm-hmm. I know that wasn't like heavy sci-fi, but it was futuristic.
It's fun to see what they thought the future would be and how it turned out. That's always fun for me.
Yeah. You go back to the 80s, and it's like people did have key cards to get into rooms. That actually happened. Hotels have key cards instead of keys and things like that. But they would walk up and just scan a thing and go in, like when he breaks into her apartment, and there's all these like TVs embedded in the walls. Now we actually have TVs that just hang on the walls, that was their futuristic thing, but it was really low budget.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, obviously they couldn't have known, and even if they did, that would have been a kind of complicated thing for them to do, probably for no effect, to create sort of a flat screen TV and have fucking projectors and blah. It would have been a major hassle for no real effect in those days. But what I think is interesting is if you look at The Running Man, they sort of predicted that we would get more bloodthirsty in our media, and the absolute opposite has happened. We're so squeamish now. We can't even hear words, and people are upset,
Right.
And they thought we were going to be fucking executing prisoners on live TV.
Right. And then, there are the classics. You left, some of the 80s Star Wars, like Return of the Jedi. Yeah, Back to the Future was technically sci-fi. Mm-hmm. But I mean, those are so obvious they can't even make a list when you say, what are your favorite sci-fi movies?
Yeah, they're
on their own. You're assuming when you ask somebody that they already have those listed.
Yeah, but the reason I ask is because I just saw the other day, I saw Escape from New York. And it's a lot of fun, that movie. I was expecting to be like, this is going to suck. This is probably like one of those movies where you just remember it was good, but it's going to suck now. But yeah, it was fucking enjoyable.
No, that was one of John Carpenter's best. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Escape from New York. I hated the sequel.
Yeah. Oh, fuck that one. That one was a cynical money grab.
Yes, it was.
As they call it. And the funny is that they try to sell it as a satire of cynical money grabs.
Right.
Like, what? You can't have both, dude.
Yeah, that's a hypocrisy right there. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. You can't make a cynical money grab that is a satire of cynical money grab unless you're, doing the 4-dimensional chess Donald Trump thing or something.
Right. No, I did love the 80s as far as like I did love like the RoboCop movies too, and
yeah, those were better satire if you wanted to have some sort of a satire of society.
What's funny is the RoboCop movie, the first RoboCop movie, was supposed to be Judge Dredd. but they couldn't get the rights to it or something, and so they changed it to where he was like a robot cop.
Really? I've never heard that story.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was supposed to be Judge Dredd.
Really?
Mm-hmm. You know, they even wanted to film it in Detroit because it looked like a broken down dystopian fucking city, you know? Mm-hmm. And but they wanted to make it Mega City 1. And yeah. At least that's what I read somewhere. Now, speaking of that, I cannot wait for Netflix. They have already 100% approved Mega City 1 show.
That'd be
series.
Awesome. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But they're currently looking for Dredd, and Carl Urban is in talks with them, and I hope they get him. I really do.
Right. That would be awesome.
Because it would be a sequel to that awesome movie, and I hope they do it right. And the name of the show isn't even going to be Dredd or Judge Dredd. It's going to be Mega City 1. So one assumes that it's not just going to tell the story of Judge Dredd. There's going to be other judges, and there's going to be like a, you know, there's going to be other points of views, you know. It's going to be a more, you know, in-depth look at how life is in Mega City 1. Right. You know, that'll be interesting, you know, to be able to see through the eyes of some of the gang members on the streets and, you know, some of the other judges and things like that. So,
oh yeah, that
awesome. That could be really cool. And with the budget that Netflix can do shows with now, I mean, you look at Altered Carbon, if they can put the same amount of money into Mega City 1 as they did Altered Carbon, that dystopian future world is going to look fucking amazing, you know?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's going to be great.
Right. And they're going to have those big what are the blocks, mega blocks or whatever, you know, like peach trees in the movie, you know, that would be really cool. Those giant apartments, you know.
That was something they captured really well in that movie.
Yeah. They really captured the essence of like a gritty,
yeah, because they always use the term block wars in the comic books, and you couldn't really figure it out. What the fuck? Why would they want to do that? And then when you saw those amazing, fucking huge concrete buildings where there was like hundreds of thousands of people, you understood like that's kind of almost like a city. Or a small country. There are fucking less country in Iceland, less people in Iceland. There were people living in one of those buildings. So yeah, I can understand those people getting together and wanted to wage war on the other building next door because that's kind of what people do.
Yeah, I really hope that they also go a little more in depth into like the history. I hope Mega City 1 tells a little bit of the past too, and how the nuclear war got kicked off and how it ended up destroying most of the world. And they had to build Mega City 1 with a big wall around it to protect them from the fucking radiation zones and stuff. Like, I want to know all that stuff. That would be great. Cause that's just like a background, which is great, you know, for a movie because they don't go too in depth and it's a single movie. But Mega City 1 has the potential of really telling a lot of like interesting stories inside this futuristic world. And it can go really far too. It could get into politics. It could get into entire fucking gang wars, and the judges are all pulled into it and stuff. Like that'd be really fun.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah. But at the same time, even though I want to see those points of views, I still want Dredd to be the main character.
Of course,
you know,
the thing that speaks for that thing in a good way. That is kind of a paradox, though, is that the more the SJWs try to interfere with that, it's almost going to make it better. That's the only time that's going to ever happen, right?
Yeah, my biggest fear with Mega City 1 is because Netflix does have a tendency now and again to be like, you can't do that. That paints black people wrong, or you know, something like that. And the writers of the show have to change it.
Okay. If they do that, then it's fucked. Obviously, that's bad. But if they try to make it just pure propaganda, and you know, because obviously Judge Dredd is not a good guy, and he's, you know,
well, he's the extreme reaction to an extreme.
He's pretty much a fascist in every sense of the word. And that doesn't mean he's not a great character, but you know, they're probably going to try to paint him a full-blown Nazi, and that's still going to be interesting.
Now, don't get me wrong, some of the comic books got ridiculous. Like some of the things that happened in the comic books went a little overboard. It's like they didn't even make sense for a sci-fi world, But as long as they stay away from some of the more ridiculous aspects of the original comic book, which is fine for a comic book. You can have fucking ghosts in it or whatever, and it's like, why is there ghosts in this? But whatever, you can do that. They've done it in Marvel. They've done it in all kinds of shit. But to pull it into the movie or the show, it's stupid.
That won't.
Yeah, right. So as long as they keep it really grounded in the more science-based, futuristic, dystopian setting and really kind of do their own thing, I would not be angry with that. They did it with Altered Carbon. Altered Carbon's based on a series of books from the 90s. Right.
But do you understand what I mean? That if the more extremely, fascist they try to make Judge Dredd, the more true to his character he'll actually be. That's a kind of a fun paradox.
Unless they go overboard with it. If they make him an extreme fascist because that's the world he lives in, that works because that's the world he lives in. But if they turn him into Donald Trump just to make fun of Donald Trump, it's not going to work.
I don't think they'll do that.
No, I'm not saying they will.
I think they'll try to sneak in some sort of criticism towards today's society, and they'll try to make him, really unpleasant. But he's supposed to be unpleasant, so go ahead, do your worst.
Well, another thing is, too, as long as they don't pull in too much of the human side. Like, Dredd did have a human side where that even showed in the Dredd movie, where at the end, he let her pass, even though he's like a hard ass and a stickler for the rules. Mm-hmm. He let her pass anyway, even though she lost her weapon and all that stuff.
Right.
Because he knew that she did the right thing and helped him take down fucking the Mama clan. And he was just like, when the Judge Superior was all like, did she pass or fail? And he's all like, she passed. You could see that just barely a human emotion, and it was even kind of revealed when she was sitting there and they were behind the glass and she was like, how many people are are looking at you right now? And she does her telepathy thing. And she's like, there's another judge, and then she's like, there's darkness and violence, but underneath there's something else. And she stops him, or she, the superior judge stops her from going further. And it was like, that was just a hint that there's a tragic something.
Yeah. Remember what, it's, what that reminded me of? It reminded me of another 80s movie called Soldier. Did you ever see that?
Oh, yeah. No, that was 90s.
Oh, it was the 90s? I thought it was late 80s. Anyway.
No, that was Kurt Russell?
Yep.
Kurt Russell. Yep. Okay. Now, let me explain something. The creator of Soldier has already come out and said that it's the same universe as Judge Dredd. In fact, it was written by the same person. So Soldier is like the same fucking universe, man.
I thought it was actually going to be the same universe as Blade Runner because they used a lot of.
Or was it Blade Runner? It could be. It's been so long since I've seen that movie, but I remember the behind the scenes. I could be mixed up.
I think. I mean, I don't know, but I remember because they're talking about the Tannhauser Gate and all that stuff.
That's right. It is Blade Runner. That's right. Thank you for correcting me.
Thank you for correcting me. Right. No. Right.
But anyway. It failed in box office, but if you watch it, it's actually a really good movie.
I love that movie. I highly recommend it. It's unbelievable how much emotion you can get out of someone who does everything in his power to play totally emotionless.
Right.
He's such a sad character,
I love that scene when the snake comes in and he throws the boot to the kid and is trying to tell the kid to bash the fucking snake, trying to teach him to defend himself. Yeah. And the parents come in and they think, he fucked up and they kick him out of the colony. And then later on a snake's crawling up and the fucking kid bashes the shit out of that snake. And they're all like, fuck, we made a mistake.
Yeah.
Let's go after him. That was a really interesting character by Kurt Russell, man. That showed no emotion whatsoever. And yet he was.
And what reminded me, if we go back to the Judge Dredd thing, there was when she's sensing darkness and violence, and there's a line when the female lead asks him, what do you feel? And he's like, fear. fear, and discipline. Always.
Right.
It's such a weird thing. Like, but then you think about it. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. If you've been an indoctrinated soldier all your life, you've known nothing but fear and discipline. That would make sense, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
And it really explains his character.
Yeah, it does. No, I really enjoyed that, and I instantly apologize for any Blade Runner fans out there that I got that mixed up. The same universe as Blade Runner. It is hard though to keep some of these facts in my head because, like I said, that was a '90s movie, and I just remember them talking about it in the like behind the scenes on HBO or whatever, and I was just like blown away that it was the same universe. And because we were talking about Dredd, I guess it just switched in my mind, but. That is kind of cool, though, that there was like a connection between the two. Unfortunately, Soldier did shit in the box office, so it became more of a cult classic. Much like a lot of other really great sci-fi movies that, like even Dredd in 2014 did terrible because it came out the same weekend as like Dark Knight, or whatever, So like it did terrible, and everybody was like, "Oh, this movie, we're never going to make another one." And then they saw the DVD sales and were like, "Holy fuck."
Yeah.
And there was because of the DVD sales and the outcry on like social media for there to be a Judge Dredd 2, a Dredd 2 with Carl Urban, the producer started to change their mind, and the creator started writing a sequel, and Carl Urban was on board. Then it got canceled anyway because of there was all the shootings, the police, shot fucking Brown, and and all that stuff happened, and it was like. They came out and there's not going to be another Dredd movie. We do not want to do a movie that promotes violent police right now.
Yeah, because that's reality. Jesus.
Right. And so like Dredd was like the sequel to Dredd was completely like backlined and canceled because people at the time didn't want another like violent police movie because of everything that was going on, the police shootings.
If you stepped out of that movie and you said, "Oh, I've just been to a police movie," then you're a fucking moron.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. But that's Hollywood's reaction to things like that. And so I'm really happy though that the fans have fought and continue to like harass production companies and stuff to get a sequel to Dredd, because now it looks like we're going to get it in the form of a Netflix original series. And that could be really fun. That could be really fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they do great job.
Yep.
They do great job sometimes.
Dredd should be part of the AVP universe, says Sir Zofield. It is.
Let's literally mash up one more franchise, shall we?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've done that. Was it Dredd or was it Terminator? They mixed Aliens and Predator. I can't remember, but I do remember something. Let me look it up. Alien versus Predator versus Dredd. See if it was a real thing. Yep. Dark Horse number 4. Predator versus Judge Dredd versus Aliens.
Give me a break.
Dark Horse did it. Yep, they did. They did.
Oh, well.
It does make sense, though. Dark Horse does own the rights to all of it. They do.
Yeah. But come on. It's like...
They won't do that in the shows. They won't.
No. But that's kind of what fucks up all these what was it called? Justice League and all that shit. It's too many fucking people. I can't keep track of all these fuckheads. You get 5 minutes for every character, and then you're supposed to like them after that, I suppose. It
is a little different.
I don't like them yet. I have not seen anything likable. Fuck off.
I kind of disagree with what you said.
Okay.
I mean, you can like the movies or hate them, but what I disagree with you is they don't have 5 minutes anymore. That's the way it would be if they started out with the Avengers. But with Marvel, they have had individual movies for each hero up until the Avengers. And then past that, every new hero, like Spider-Man got his own, Black Panther. I mean, the only ones that haven't got their own are like Hawkeye and fucking Black Widow. But there's enough movies with those characters in them, every fucking movie, that we get to see their background and see them build as a team. And that is not, let's just throw people together and give them 5 minutes each. That is not the case.
Okay, you're both right and wrong. You're certainly right that Marvel is a lot smarter, and they are paying a lot closer attention to what people want, and they are giving them that in the form of separate movies for all the characters, and that does explain most of it. So yeah, I'll certainly give them that. It does still irk me that you can show up to a movie and then they're going to be like, well, if you haven't seen all the other fucking movies that came before, then that's your problem that you don't understand all the things now.
Yeah, they have to do that though. They can't have exposition every fucking movie that people show up in. Like they're assuming
it's just such a. I don't understand why they have to have fucking 10 leads.
Well, it's because it probably has never really been done before. Not in this way. I mean, it's kind of like people are like, these big team up movies are pretty awesome, in a way that like TV shows used to do that, where it's like, oh my God, this person showed up, and then they're added to the roster because fans like them, and then they keep going and going and going until they have a team built. But they've never really done that in movies. They've done a few crossovers, obviously. They're like, let's make a fucking Freddy versus Jason. Let's make a fucking Alien versus Predator. But they've never really been like, let's do this fucking massive team up thing. And whether you like it or not, it was the first of its kind. I mean,
yeah, sure. It was an interesting experiment, but
I'm not telling you to like it, by the way.
I'm not saying it's horrible. I mean, the Marvel movies usually come out to be enjoyable, at least.
Yeah,
they're not dog shit. They're you're gonna have a good time and you're not gonna be bored. But I'm just saying, this cannot be profitable in the long run, because these fucking people are gonna charge them up the ass every time they come around to make the next one. They're gonna be, okay, I want double this time, and
you're probably right.
Keep doing that every fucking time because they know they can do it, and at some point they're not going to be able to do it, and then that's fine. Okay, I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't really have a good point. It's just weird. It's just weird. I just figured that basically I enjoyed the Iron Man movies much more than the Avenger movies, I guess, is my point.
Yeah, you're entitled to like what you like. I mean, I like most of them, but not all of them. Even I'm a little bit of a like, okay, that one wasn't that great. Like even I'm like that with some of the standalone Marvel movies. Like I didn't really care that much for like the first Captain America. It's like,
no, I didn't give a shit either.
Yeah. Red Skull was kind of a goofy character, even though he's played by Hugo Weaving, and I love Hugo Weaving. But like in the end, the flaw with that movie is like, I got to take this plane into the ocean. Why? Just disable the fucking, go back to the engine room and blow the fucking engines out, and then jump with a parachute. They'll come and get you. Why did he have to fly that fucking thing into the ice? Like, like I don't.
Yeah, and a lot of things didn't make any sense, but that's okay. I mean, at least it was a good ride. And, even though I thought Iron Man was better than the Avengers, it was still all right. The Avengers were still all right. The big problem is DC. What the fuck are those idiots doing?
Yeah,
they couldn't string together a good movie if someone held a gun to their head.
Yeah, and I think their darker movies are going to be more popular because they're lesser known characters, and they're just handing it off to some would-be
director.
It's going
to get even darker.
No, man, I didn't think Justice League was dark at all. They were like, yeah, let's just wake up God and fix everything.
Okay, but that was such a fucking idiotic.
I'm talking about the Vertigo universe. They're supposed to make like a dark Justice
I was thinking
John Constantine, Sandman, Swamp Thing. That would be fucking awesome.
Okay, I was thinking more like Superman versus Batman thingy, right?
Yeah, no, I'm more.
That was pretty dark, and it was pretty boring.
It can be, yeah. I mean, especially with such powerful heroes. But you get some of the smaller guys together, there could be some real interesting storytelling. So I'm excited to see Constantine and Sandman and fucking Swamp Thing and stuff. Maybe that'll be interesting. Maybe they'll do good with. I think DC does better on the smaller screen. They really do. When they can tell a much longer, more dramatic story because their characters are so dark, they do better on a smaller screen. It's why Smallville was popular. It's why fucking Arrow is popular. It's why even Supergirl is lame as it is.
The thing with Superman, they should really put that character to bed because he just kills all the suspense.
Yeah. Now, Anti-Hero Broadcast in the chat is asking us if we're excited about the Venom movie with
I thought the trailer looked kind of nice. I'm not against it.
I think Tom Hardy will make a much better Eddie Brock than fucking Topher Grace.
Anything with Hardy is worth watching. Is my point on that. He even, as much as I am a little bit of a fanboy of the Mad Max movies because I grew up with them, I know they're kind of shit, corny movies. I get it. But his portrayal of Max was just fucking awesome. I love that movie. I really do. And Tom Hardy's just always been good. Like, he's just been a good actor. Like, he's pretty solid. Fucking Warrior, fucking Bane, and Dark Knight Rises. I mean, God. Yeah, I mean, fuck, Bane's voice may be a cliche and a meme now, but he was the guy that thought it up.
Yeah, he made it his own thing. He made the character his own thing. Because originally
it was not a thing before he made it up. So if you can make something so incredibly recognizable, then you're talented. So yeah.
No, I mean, it was great. But yeah, I mean, eventually Marvel is going to wind down. Some of these actors, they're done playing these characters. They're too old. You know, they're getting up there. They want to do other movies. They're kind of tired of people just going, oh, Thor, you know, like even Chris Hemsworth is all like, I'm fucking tired of playing Thor. I've played him in like fucking 8 movies now. He's kind of tired of it. I get it. But he still does his job. He still entertains and everything and brings it. But you know, they're all eventually going to just get tired of playing these fucking characters. And then what are they going to do? Reboot them all over again with new actors? Maybe.
Sure, you betcha.
Yep, probably. So
that's what they're going to do.
Frank Johnson asked, McGog, what do you think about Gotham? I hated that show after like the 3rd season. I was done. I was done with it. I got tired of it. Like, I get what they were doing, and it was exciting at first. It's like a prequel to Batman where like Bruce Wayne is still young, and it's all about Jim Gordon and his life in Gotham and trying to be a police officer and stuff. That's kind of a cool theme to play with. But then they kind of were like, let's just keep pushing the cliffhanger drama every chance we fucking get. And I didn't like it. I didn't like that.
I just watched
a likable character. Let's make him gay for the Riddler. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I don't know. I just watched maybe a couple episodes and I was like, fuck it. I'm done with this. The only thing I like about that whole scenario is Batman, and he's obviously not going to show up, so fuck off.
Right.
And I don't like the new Batman. He makes no sense to me. And I do think that The Dark Knight is one of the best movies ever made. So,
right, yeah, for sure.
Out there.
Yeah, but it's hard to fill those shoes, man. Once again, Heath Ledger's Joker, Christian Bale's Batman. It was a fantastically written movie. It had, they even were able to kind of put Two-Face in it for a little while, Harvey Dent, and everything properly done. And you know, I just was really impressed with that movie. And it's hard to beat a masterpiece. So I understand that they were trying, but they failed. DC needs to get their fucking shit together, reboot the whole series with maybe some new actors that really bring it. Like Henry Cavill, or is that how you say his last name? Cavill or Cavill, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know either.
he wasn't an unknown. Like people are like, Superman should be an unknown. He wasn't necessarily an unknown. I mean, he was in The Count of Monte Cristo. Like he's been in other movies, but he wasn't big enough yet. And so to put him in the role of Superman was a good idea, but it was a poorly written role.
Yeah, but you know what the difference is between Affleck and Bale? Bale he's a method actor, you know?
Yeah, he is.
Affleck is just some guy who shows up and looks cute.
Yeah, that's always kind of been his shtick, and it works for him in certain ways. And I don't blame him for Some of the movies.
Sure, that's, you know, if you need a plumber, you're going to call a plumber. But if you don't need a plumber, you might not. You know?
Right.
It's just he's the plumber when you want the cute guy, you know. But
anti-hero broadcast. Magog and Undoomed. Who was worse, Topher Grace's Venom or Jared Leto's Joker? Topher Grace's Venom. Easy. By far. He was no way in any way Eddie Brock.
Who said that?
Anti-hero broadcast in the chat. Asks,
okay, let's see here.
Who was worse, Topher Grace's Venom in Spider-Man 3 or Jared Leto's Joker in Suicide Squad? And I'm going to have to go with Topher Grace's Venom. It was fucking awful.
I'm going to go with Jared Leto's Joker because I have no memory of that Venom.
Okay, well, that's the only reason why. If you've watched Spider-Man 3, the Sam Raimi film, where fucking Peter Parker, fucking Tobey Maguire goes all emo and shit, and then the symbiote gets on to Topher Grace, and Topher Grace was like, I'm the opposite of Peter Parker, but I'm exactly the same as him. I want to be a photographer for a newspaper. Eddie Brock in the comics was like a big strongman motherfucker. Yeah, he was a photographer, but he was actually a complete opposite. Topher Grace was Peter Parker, just for a different newspaper. Fuck off. Yeah, I fucking hated that. And Jared Leto's Joker, hate him or not, he was definitely one of the lesser Jokers. But Jesus Christ, at least he had his own fucking, he had the laugh down at least. Like, there was something slightly redeemable about Jared Leto's performance. He was kind of a crazy motherfucker, and that's okay. He wasn't no way in any way going to fill the shoes of Heath Ledger. That is not what I'm saying.
No, but it's like he didn't even try. He's like he just tried to go back to the 60s TV series or something.
No, I don't think he was that clowny.
I mean, he literally turned into a cartoon character.
He was, and that's, you know, but it was his own cartoon character. It wasn't, definitely not like the 60s. No way in any way. He was still had a sick personality as part of his, you know, character, and I'm okay with that. Honestly, I actually thought the Suicide Squad was the lesser bad movie out of all of them. Like even Wonder Woman. I didn't even really care that much for Wonder Woman. Like it was okay. It was fine, but it wasn't great.
Wonder Woman, yeah, that was just like a formulaic by the paint by numbers Hollywood action thingy. It was, you know, something to watch while you're having breakfast Sunday morning or something. But I really didn't care for that Joker. What's his name?
No one's asking if you did. We were asking which is worse. And since you haven't seen Topher Grace's Venom, then it's a moot question for you.
I have seen him, but I don't really remember it.
That's how forgettable it was. At least you remember Jared Leto.
Yeah, I remember hating him. I was like fucking pissed off at how bad it was.
Bane Tomic asks, do you like Constantine on CW Legends TV show? Here's the thing. Love the Constantine show. Hated that it was canceled after one season. I thought the guy they got was doing really great. It wasn't as dark as I wanted it to be because the Constantine universe, Hellblazer, is dark as fuck. It's like up there with Preacher, right? But they couldn't do that on like fucking CBS, right? I get that. They couldn't even show him smoking. Like they show a puff of, like the camera would be behind his head, so you'd see some smoke coming up, but as soon as the camera panned around, he wouldn't have a cigarette, or he'd have a cigarette, but it wouldn't be lit. Like he'd pull one out the pack, put it in his mouth, but they were like, you can't light it. Like NBC didn't want to show that. CBS, NBC, whichever one had the show.
Right.
But CW picked up the character, brought him into the universe. Problem is, I haven't seen that. I haven't caught up on any of those because I got so tired of the fucking over drama of like Arrow and Flash and stuff that I just gave up on those shows. I really did. I just gave up on them. So I have not seen Constantine in Legends of Tomorrow or whatever. Now that he's ended up over there, I haven't seen it. But at the same time, I really did like that Constantine. I wish it could have kept going as its own show and not been branched in, because it's kind of like Doctor Strange in the Marvel universe. They did a decent job explaining how all of a sudden there's magic in the world, but it is really hard to do in the Arrow universe. Like it was all very much like set in a little bit of a reality of some sort. And then they brought the Flash in and started really breaching the walls of that reality. And then they brought in Supergirl, and she's like basically
Isn't the Flash just the saddest superhero of them all, though?
Yeah, he is. I've never really cared.
That really made me laugh during that Justice League thing. The only thing he has is to run fast, and then in the movie he gets outrun by Superman, he gets outrun by Wonder Woman. It's like, oh my god.
But that's not entirely true as far as the show. Maybe in the shitty movie Justice League, yeah, he wasn't that great, but even in that movie, they did show that he eventually comes into his prime and figures out that he can run so fast he can time travel. And that's a pretty powerful fucking power.
Superman can do that. Superwoman can do that, you know.
No, Superman could keep up with the Flash in his normal mode where he's just moving fast, but Superman could...
He can do time travel. He's done that lots of times.
No, he flew around the Earth and turned the fucking time backwards, which is fucking impossible. I'm talking about actually like breaking the space-time continuum because you're moving faster than light. That's pretty impressive. They had to give Flash something.
Okay, well, that was just slower then. That was just the saddest guy in the movie. He's like, "Fuck, why did?
Yeah, sure.
Kill
in the movie,
kill me."
The Flash in the comic books, at least, he had his own. He kept growing faster and faster, and that was interesting because they got to play with the dynamics of the character, where he got to a point where he couldn't really control it. It was crazy. Like if you read some of the Ross stuff, where it's like everybody's older now. Like Superman's actually like in his fucking 50s or whatever, even though he ages slower, and Lois Lane is dead. She died of old age and he's all alone now. And all the superheroes are a bit older and more mature. Flash is constantly moving now. He got to a point where his molecules will not stop at all. So like you go to fucking the central city where he is still the superhero and everybody just sees a red blur constantly flying down the street, just, you know, fucking moving so fast he can't stop. Like he slowly is just getting faster and faster until he can't stop at all. Like that's got to be pretty sad fucking end to a character. That gave him a little depth, I will admit, in the comic books. Now in the movies, he was ridiculous.
Right. Wow.
That fucking Justice League movie when Batman shows up to recruit him and he's like, "No, that suit is for ice skating." I was like, "Oh, facepalm." Oh, that was bad.
Nothing made sense in that movie, and that sort of kept in perfect balance with the previous one. So, because nothing made sense in Superman versus Batman, or
it was sad. It was pretty sad. I will admit, it was pretty fucking sad. But anyway, we've gone past our half-hour promise. It's now 4:50.
Right.
I'm sure you got to get back to work, and we promise not to go on for 5 or 6 hours. So
yeah. We should round it off and all that. Any final words?
No, just you know, just thanks for having me again, chilling out, talking about cool stuff, and thanks for everybody who came by to watch.
Yeah, exactly. Now we have Free Press of Gulf City here. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's up, Free Press?
Long time no see. Thank you very much to everyone who's tuned in and had a chat with us. Enjoyed it immensely. Great fun to just talk with no script or any aim or anything like that. So it's awesome that we can do that, and you guys can hang out with us. So I guess we'll get going, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Later.